It's over. It's all over. And who are the biggest losers of the week? All of us who believed in KC. Why? It happens every time. I mean, they beat T1 and Faker, he just became an official EWC ambassador and then he got sent home packing. The arena was packed, the fans were loud, and the blue wall was blue. All to just get 3-0'd in the finals by a car company. Why does France always blow it at the finish line? Just like against England or the Waterloo. Maybe another game can cheer me up. For instance, our researchers dug up some interesting facts about Mobile Legends Bang Bang Women's Invitational after they were able to finish reading the title. The competition for these lady gamers, or as I call them, lamers. Nope, not that. These female athletes, or never mind, they don't need a nickname. But the competition this year was personal because 3 players each from Virtus Pro and Twisted Minds have switched sides to play for the rival. Now that may seem cutthroat and cruel, but that's what it takes to win in this business. What's that? None of them even made the playoffs? They weren't really a threat and Vitality won once again? Well, there's plenty of room in the depression pit, ladies. Hop on in. All I want, other than my emotional support sorbet, the feelings of comfort and normalcy. Did Free Fire provide? Of course not. Defending champs Evos Divine barely showed up. Vitality's Secret and Aurora didn't even make the finals, all while Falcons, Twisted Minds, and Loud fell over to Lion, who forgot to even use their hands in League. But they did secure over 100 kills to get to the final. They want me to yell booyah here, but I'm afraid that if I do, I'm gonna start crying. Finally, in Dota. Wait, didn't we already cover the... No, that was a different game. I haven't been following closely since my Rune Eaters were eliminated by eventual champion P-Vision. They were heavy underdogs who made a splash before our hearts were ripped out, just like with KC, just like every time. Now that we've cheered and laughed and cried together, I only have one more thing to ask. KC fans, can you please stop camping outside of my hotel? I said that I was sorry about all the French jokes. Someone threw a hardened baguette through my window and it hit me in the forehead. I even got hate mail engraved on a croissant. Okay? Please, stop. S'il vous plaît. Please. This is Cadrill's fault.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2026 Esports World Cup here in Paris, France. It's day 2 of TFT, which means we're crushing keys today. It's going to be a big day, and of course, for some others, they'll be making it into the playoffs bracket. Hey, everyone, welcome into the Allianz Vault. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Stuart and Dobbs. Good to see you, boys. How we feeling for day 2?
Super excited for day 2. As you said, keys are getting crushed. Players are going to be moving on to the playoffs. Yesterday was a bit expected, but today is going to be very hype.
Going to be hype indeed. Dobbs crushing keys, 4 of them, in fact. It's hard sometimes to watch them get crushed because that's the hopes and dreams in the heart of the competitors.
I mean, it's hard for the competitors. I feel like for us, it's amazing. I love the key crushing stuff.
That's cruel.
I think that this is the thing that I want to see in here. Keys getting crushed.
That's right. Well, you're going to see it for sure. Day 1 was a wild ride and a lot of fun, and Clements and Casanova are going to catch you up.
Day 1 of TFT at EWC was insane, full of upsets and close calls. That first close call being T1 versus Weibo.
In what was a championship caliber match, our reigning champions did prevail and sent T1 straight into the lower bracket.
The next matchup was Zeta Division versus JDG, and Zeta Division bringing maybe the strongest roster they ever had. After falling short in 2024, they're able to get the first match here, taking down one of the CN powerhouses.
For CN, though, JD Gaming was the only team that fell into the lower bracket. All 4 moved on. One of them was Vision versus MCoy in a clean 2-0 sweep.
And the last match of A's stream was Vitality versus the Flash Wolves. The Flash Wolves able to upset the giants that are Vitality, trying to make them repeat the failings of 2025.
And in what was our most heroic moment, Dasik flew back for Godlike just in the nick of time to complete the 2-0 sweep of Fnatic. Amazing play.
Insane day of games on day one. I can't wait to jump straight in to day two.
Thank you for the recap. Day one was exciting. Day two about to get started, but the hit on day one a little bit more. We had two streams, A and B. A lot of matches ended up taking place. There was one matchup I specifically remember saying to you, I believe it was, and you getting incredibly excited about it. It was Noxium Red Force on the B stream going against Aurora Gaming, and I said they're tied up 1-1, and you almost lost your mind.
No, it was crazy. I mean, you can tell that some of these teams, you know, the power of friendship that we always talk about as well, these teams that come in as the underdogs still have a chance against some of these powerhouses from China.
That's clearly the case, and we thought T1 Dubs might have had a chance to take down Weibo at one point.
Yes, they started very in high tempo in that first game of the series, but Tien Long did a great job. He showed after getting an 8 on the first game, he finished second twice, and then Weibo got the win.
Yeah, I mean, that T1 was incredibly close. We knew that that was going to be an incredible game. Casanova and Clement put it perfectly. It was a match that could have been the semifinals, could have even been the grand finals of this tournament as well. Of course, T1 going into the lower bracket means that they have to claw their way back up, but I'm sure they're going to have a great time today.
We watched Movie Star Koi, we watched Vitality, so many different rosters fighting to move forward in the upper bracket. Of course, for some, Dobbs, they ended up dropping down to the lowers.
Yes, I mean, you never want to afford another loss when you're into the lower, and I feel like T1 is the biggest team that is playing on that side.
Absolutely.
But I think they might have the best tools to come back.
I think so. I mean, given T1's history, especially in EWC, we're talking 4th place, 2nd place, respectively. They are here on a mission. They no longer want to be second. They no longer want to be first. They want to be the winners. They want to be the title defenders like Weibo Gaming is. But they've got a little bit more work to do if they want to get to that point. Let's take a look at our schedule for today for both Stream A and B. We've got the action all day long. We start with Weibo Gaming once again, but this time against Godlike Esports. Vision will play against Flash Wolves, T1 and Fnatic, and then Movie Star Koi and Vitality. Those two lower bracket matches for Group A will be an elimination match. Keys will be crushed, and same thing for Stream B. Starting off for the B stream or B group, we've got AJL versus Zeta Division, Virtus Pro, Aurora Gaming, Maus, JD Gaming, and Team Nemesis and Noxium Red Force. A lot of powerful teams there to play, not only for a playoff spot, but also, of course, to protect their key. And we've been saying keys are getting crushed today, and we've got to prepare for it.
It's officially Key Crush Day. Where are my inspectors, though? I hired them like 2 hours ago.
No, Kitty, it's okay.
We're all TV. We got Damascus as
Traffic
well.
was crazy.
You guys got hired for this? You guys have credentials?
Damascus, the glass, brother. The
You
glass.
are supposed to do this, Rob. Why is it so ugly?
What are you talking? Oh, actually, most importantly, guys, I've got something special.
What you got?
What do you got?
We gotta test the key crusher.
No, Rob. No.
This is dangerous, but this is for the keys. You don't put your hands in there. You're
Talking
crazy.
You're fired. Rob, you're fired. Damascus, you go on stage. We need stage hosts for day number 2. Be careful. Safety is important. And of course, this is the team fight tactics at the Esports World Cup 2026, day number 2.
I don't know, with those three, hopefully we'll get those keys crushed. I've got faith in them, but right now they seem a bit chaotic, Kitty. You need to keep Rob and Damascus in check, because clearly they need some help. Hey, the club championship is well underway, and they're playing for the trophy. What does all that mean? Let's find out.
The Esports World Cup, the most elite competition in the world. Its trophy system is built to match. The Club Championship Trophy, awarded to the one club that rose above the rest and reigned supreme across all EWC games. Every participant earns a key engraved with their name. That's their right to compete. Reigning champions hold a key unlike any other. The game trophy is the ultimate prize for every game's champion, incomplete until a champion's key is inserted. champion's key frame is locked into the totem, a stone marker of legacy, etched with every EWC champion. The losing keys are crushed. The champion claims 3, a personal reminder of who they defeated. The rest are preserved beneath the totem in resin. Every fallen contender captured forever. Will you be remembered or forgotten beneath the totem? At EWC, nothing is granted. Everything is earned.
The Esports World Cup has quite literally the best format you could possibly imagine. The pressure is elevated each and every day of competition, and I love the trophy system, especially the keys, the hearts of the competitor once getting crushed. And who's at risk of getting crushed today? Well, there's no more second chances. It's Team Vitality. We talked to Danny yesterday, and he says, man, these guys, they love to tug at the heartstrings, especially with their close series. And yesterday, they had a close series.
Yes, of course. Speaking about their games, I feel like they had the chances and they were getting the first places in the game, but they couldn't avoid the 8s, and that's very important in a 4v4 series. As well as, I think the last game specifically was very close, and I can look on the augment side, Soju and Ironbog, they both have the same augment, which gives you either items or a radiant item. But the radiant item is so much better, and Ironbog just got it and snowballed it from there, while Soju didn't have the same luck. So I feel like Flash Wolves, they were ahead because of it, and they closed out the series. But Vitality has the chances.
And when you look at the bigger picture for Team Vitality as well, I mean, this is an organization that's been here before. They've been in this position before. They've gone down to lower bracket. Last year, they didn't even make it out of groups. They had the same group as T1 and Weibo last year. This time around, though, they need to try and make it out of groups as well. This could be the last time that we see this iteration of Vitality. Soju coming into this as well with his best performance this set, you know, going to Tactician's Crown, winning multiple cups as well this year. So it's an important series for Team Vitality as a whole.
As a whole, as well as the org, right? Going for the club championship trophy. They're trying to take first place, and they have a chance to do it over Na'Vi. The players were walking in, and Dagon had a chance to talk to a couple of them.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to day 2, and we've got teams coming on in right now. It's Godlike moving right on in, and oh, Dasic's right here. Here's the man of the hour, one of the few Western teams to get a win in day 1. Dasic, how's it going, brother?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How was yesterday's matches for you?
Like it was nice. It was pretty late for me during the day because I was traveling for quite a long time. But we still played our best and we just won 2-0.
You know, that was the coolest part. You weren't maybe going to be able to make it, and then you were able to make it here on time. How cool is it that you land, you show up, and you win?
Definitely it feels nice because my entire team was waiting for me, and they helped me with travel and stuff. So it definitely feels nice.
What's the score going to be in your matchup today?
I would say 2-1 because they are a good team.
All right, respectful from Dasic. Thank you very much. Good luck today. See you, brother.
Oh, perfect guy to interview heading into our first series of the day. And speaking of our first series, it is the crunchy story of the day. This is a big one. It's Weibo versus Godlike Esports. It's the winners versus the dreamers. And we've got to break it down because this series means a lot, obviously, not only for the tournament life. I mean, you go directly into the playoffs if you win this series, but also you don't want to go down to lowers because you know who's down there. It's T1 and many others. You don't want to face against them. Let's talk Godlike and what makes them so good.
Yeah, I mean, they have incredible synergy on their team. You know, Dasic being one of the star players. It would have been really unfortunate if he did miss out. But flying in here, 9 a.m. he landed yesterday morning, went straight to the game, got into the game as well. And he, in one of his games yesterday against Fnatic, he got a 10-round win streak. He was the main carry yesterday for his team. For a player that flies overnight, that comes into here, maybe he hasn't had a lot of sleep, he comes in and he actually absolutely dominates Fnatic.
From what I was hearing, game one, Godlike didn't drop a single player. Flawless through the game one. Game two, only lost one player. But if we talk about the caliber of players on Fnatic versus, let's say, T1, for example, who Weibo had to get through, how strong does Godlike truly look after that win against Fnatic?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not the same scale as you mentioned as T1. I think Weibo still coming into this still have a stronger chance than Godlike as well. I think individually, though, Godlike have some incredible players. We talk about GoBuster as well. He's had an incredible year individually. Maybe a few other players like Dahua coming in from, the Americas. It's the first time we've had an EMEA and NA kind of collab team where you have 3 players from EMEA and 1 player from NA, which I think is very interesting to see their synergy. But this is a team that has worked hard, that's scrimmed a lot, and they've got the full roster here now, which is incredible.
And the full roster, indeed. You've talked about a couple of them. And for you, though, who is going to be the superstar today? Because I'm learning from you guys. I really am. TFT is new for me, so thank you for putting up with my ignorance. But if you had to put a player, a.k.a. setting them up for T1, for top 1 place, who would it be?
It has to be Daysik. I mean, of course, he comes in here and he's one of the most storied players here as well. He's been playing all the way since set 3 from a few years ago as well. He's been playing this game since really the start. He's a content creator as well. He's been helping so many players across the world, in terms of tier lists, in terms of knowing so much about the game. So he's the player that's going to be the standout and take his team to victory.
Well, it takes 2 to tango, and they will tango indeed. It's Weibo, the title defenders. Let's talk Weibo, what makes them so good, because that series against T1 Dobbs was exciting, but let's face it, T1 could have won that series if things would have went slightly differently.
Yeah, I feel like Weibo confirmed that they were the favorites. I mean, it was a thrilling matchup against T1, and they actually overcome after losing game 1. T1 looked so good on that first game, but Weibo was able to come back as Tien Anh helped them, leading them to the win. And I feel like they are just the favorites, and Godlike is going to have a lot of trouble in this series.
For sure. And again, Tien Anh, he was a big talking point yesterday, but Sal Pimmy as well. He comes in and he looks absolutely stellar for Weibo. This is a roster that stayed together. Winners from last year, staying together this year. So Dobbs, for me, that team chemistry. Of course, we mentioned how important it is to just have friendships in general on your roster. Weibo, they've got it all.
Yeah, I feel like synergy is one of the most important things. We usually to call that power of friendship.
That's what it is,
At the end of the day, it's synergy. These guys know each other. They know what the teammates can do. So when that happens, you have much more chances to find the wins.
Yeah, I mean, I think this Weibo team as well, I think they took a lot more risks yesterday against T1. We saw that in game number 1. They play a lot more of the high variance lines. They try and go for emblems. They try and go for the win-out players. Godlike on the other side, they tried to play for more tempo. They didn't really have a lot of players that were playing for streaks during the early stages. We talk about stage 2 and stage 3. Daysik was really the only one that had that streak, that big massive 10-win streak in game number 2 yesterday against Fnatic. Whereas Weibo, they try and guarantee the streaks. They lose the early stages of the game because they want to try and get that win-out player that can try and win it all.
Yeah, we are talking that Godlike were played with more patience.
Yes.
But I feel like against Weibo, it's going to be very difficult because Weibo can play tempo very aggressively. So this is going to be a very interesting series.
Which is so interesting to hear you say that, because I remember the biggest talking point with Weibo playing against T1 was that T1 had great tempo. So if Weibo's doing it better, they're clearly the winners and the title defenders for a reason. And speaking of title defenders, let's take a closer look at Weibo Gaming. It's Weibo Gaming!
準備好了。
It starts with Sal Pimmy. It's finished by LBTZ. And Weibo Gaming are the winners of TFT at the Esports World Cup.
在夺冠的时候捧起奖杯的时候，我觉得我们非常的开心吧。然后能和队友拿下世俱杯的冠军，非常的激动。
The MVP of TFT at EWC.
This is where they get to pick their keys.
Totally deserved. Amazing gameplay, amazing teamwork.
我没有预料到自己能成为这个 FMVP。回想去年的话，我觉得就是打好自己吧。
我觉得当前版本环境能决定胜负的就是新兴阿卡丽这套阵容，然后以及团队的配合方面。
在这1年中，我都是一直在专注这个赛事的，这个很广泛，说的有点，就是其实我们就是每天都是训练嘛，打游戏就这样，基本上都是这样。在这1年中，我基本上都是专注于提升自己个人能力，比如阵容的搭配、装备的选择，还有海克斯强化之类等等，就是在今年希望打出自己更好的表现。
Front lines need to hold strong enough for these Aurelians to continue to cast. From the corner, Jianglong is going to extend his life in this game.
Perfect chain of abilities.
我觉得再次来到世俱杯，我们给大家带来的惊喜就是成功卫冕。我觉得没有任何困难能阻挡我们，我们就是最强的。
It is time, it's EWC TFT Day 2, and we are ready for our first match. But before the match, we've got a very special guest, Rob.
Right now, as you can see, I am with my dog, Dasik. Now, I have to ask you, of course, representing Godlike Esports, usually you're playing in singles tournaments, right? We've seen that you recently in TAC Crown got top 8 2 times over recent years, but it's your first time here at EWC, the biggest event where it's a team format. How different is it for you coming into an event like this where you're no longer just relying on yourself?
I think it's actually easier because you have a team behind you and you can talk like in real life, so like definitely helps. And spending time outside of the game also helps. So I'll say like overall it's a pretty good experience, and I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
You guys starting really strong yesterday, dominating Fnatic 2-0 as newcomers and everything. Was that something you guys expected? How was that preparation? And then taking on a team that, a lot of people know.
Yeah, I think like we played a lot of scrims. Like when we have like a sub on it, it's Alboros have played like a few games. Even our friends from our study groups also helps us. So like we never played with only like 4 people like roster basically, and we have like minimum 5 people behind the scene. So like we have like a different view on the game and stuff. Like definitely helps overall. And today's game is going to be very interesting.
Okay, and just one last thing. We're only going to do 2, but I have to ask you about the fact that you almost weren't even here, right? A lot of people thought that you might not be able to make it because certain visa issues. So last second, you come here yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, and heroically pull up and are able to get a big-time victory. What was that like for you, almost not being here, and how did you perform last second?
Honestly, I remember like a few things about yesterday only because it was like a very long day, and I hope like today is going to be also like a good memories after like we're going to win.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Damascus, I do think it is finally time for us to get to our first playoff qualification match. It is going to be Weibo Gaming going head-to-head with Godlike Esports. Best of luck, brother.
It is time to kick off day 2, and what a match we have in store for us. The reigning winners from last year's edition, Weibo, being able to defeat T1 yesterday, a really tough first matchup in that day 1. They've made it now in a confident position. But this Godlike team may be the hope of the West, the hope of EMEA for sure. Dasik arriving as a hero yesterday, alongside Gobo, the 2 players who really, I think, performed at a really high level versus Fnatic. But this is a whole new beast today, Hupeson.
Yeah, 100%. For Dasik, that's the wild card, right? He didn't have enough rest, and he popped up yesterday. And now he's even better. It looks like he got some sleep. He's looking great. He has great energy here coming into the game. And Dohwa, I mean, we have it here on the front. This is a player that gives the joy to the team. Raiko, also a wild card. Top 1 player that has the possibility to do so much and so much damage to the team. You talk about Sao Min. I want to talk about Wang a little also. Tianlong, this representative that for sure will give you a cap game today. Starting off with Twisted Fate, so a little gold.
Gold augments, we're going to see, of course, incredibly impactful augments potentially coming through on 2-1, something like spreading roots we see so often in 4v4 in terms of giving players direction, in terms of giving players a clear idea of what they should be playing for in that early game in particular. But
looking at something like Treasure Hunt, you have the chance to play some reroll lines, for example. Cho Lysandra especially benefits a lot from this kind of augment. And we saw Attack Crown, Anima Commander, not so much in 4v4, very hard to get those crazy loot streaks going.
Yeah, for Daisy here also a possibility to play Lulu. We know he loves the reroll lines also as a possibility. Very open. This is a line selection player, if you will. Has all the multiverses open and has all the possibilities to play anything that the game provides. Also good at resource management, but of course, he wants to play for the team. He wants to make sure that he's doing exactly what the team needs him to. And this is the pop-up player. It's the player that we want to watch being the win-out player, going for risk, and obviously trying to assemble a great composition.
A bit more insight on Daisy as a competitor outside of the conditions in terms of him arriving last night or yesterday and coming in late. He's a player who's very creative in TFT. He's very intuitive about the game and his understanding of the game. And this really helps in 4v4 because having a big picture understanding of what your team needs in terms of lobby tempo, in terms of placements, going into stage 4 in particular, and being able to help the team understand, hey, we have to play for this placement, we have to avoid this placement, we need to remove items here, we don't want to sack for you because you're too weak already. You know, things like this really help going forward.
We have been with a good start here just with the Lulu. And very important to get a position, to get a placement, to know exactly what you want to go for the early game. We saw him holding here some Briars and Jinx just to get additional possibilities. Normally we see players doing a little more economy maybe in single play, but in 4v4 you really need to hold these units and be open to flexible lines, especially when you don't know what the rival and your teammates are doing.
Gold augments coming through. We'll see the different options for our players. For Daisy here, has a chance for Birthday Reunion, which is a fast 9 augment we saw so often played into Nova fast 9, and is one of the possibilities, one of the options to become a win-out player. This is something we absolutely need on every team. Someone at some point in the game has to rise up and say, hey, I can play for the win, I can be the tiebreaker player if we move into that top 4 where we need to get the first place. And it will be replication for Daisy. He's a player that often plays more for a tempo game plan. Not necessarily a tempo game plan of rerolling on stage 3, but just tempo in general. Making a strong board from the very first round, playing for item, for example, and around upgrades we're seeing here, the TF and the Briar. For Raiko, it will be the spreading roots. We did see their Primordian and the Space Groove. Space Groove, one of the premium +1 lines, just the verticals in general in TFT. I think Darkstar and Space Groove, the two strongest in terms of stable level 8 boards, but also very clear direction that can cap out quite high in the right conditions.
We have LBTC and One, both with bodyguards. So these are players that are getting combat augments right now, thinking about the future, thinking about assembling a great board in the latest stage of the game. So possibly not the greatest in strength right now, but this will be the players to watch for Weibo, and they have a great chance to take out the game. So if they manage to hold with the rest of the players, improve tempo, One can be the one to win it all.
And Salpimi on Treasure Hunt does not surprise me in the slightest. He's a player who played all 3 games yesterday around the Nova line, mostly around the Akali line. He seemed to be the player who was happiest to play for the stage 3 win streak. We saw that was super important against T1. I think against Godlike it'll be a little bit less important. Speaking to Daisy yesterday, he mentioned that he does feel like in day 1 and his learnings from that day 1, it seemed to be that playing for very heavy stage 3 tempo is not the most important thing like it was in past editions in the last 2 years of EWC. Instead, playing for a bit more of a late game kind of curve in your game plans seemed to be the more successful strategy yesterday.
Yeah, 100%. And also having the possibility here to know exactly what your teammates are doing. Salpimi, you mentioned Treasure Hunt, already open, being sure that he has the loose streak, he has the inflection of gold, he has the loose streak possibility here to get the interest. And of course, a great game plan. We already have a reroll player here for Weibo that will push tempo on stage 3. We have 2 win-out players, and the other player is more maybe playing defense and making sure no one's from Godlike is going out of line.
To remind viewers on the different roles on a team in 4v4, as you're mentioning, it's really important to have a player who can preserve a lot of HP via rerolling mostly in stage 3. Because that player can then kind of trade away his HP to the players who need that just little bit more time in stage 4 to scale onto their win-out boards. And it is a pivotal part of this 4v4 strategy. For Daehwa here, we're seeing solo play on the Leona. We're going to have a chance to play for some variation of AP Flex, which I think is the default. You know, I'm homeless, I don't have anywhere to go.
Yep.
What do I play? It's AP Flex most of the time. And you have that little chance of sometimes you roll not much on 8s, you hit everything quickly, you can go 9, and you can still win out boards with a 5 cost with Bard, with Sona coming online.
Inflexing a little more on the flexibility, as you mentioned, already having only tank items here. Slamming here the Striker Fredos just to have additional crit possibility, also a flex unit here. And Tien Anh, on the other hand, this was the the flexible player, if we will, for Weibo, and we already know he has a wingsuit, very flexible. He could stay on the Nard that we haven't seen that much. You can print it and go. Normally, this should be a LeBlanc angle, but already having the meeples, I think it makes good sense to stay on this Nard, try to print a lot of Nard in the early stages of the game, and then try to pop off together with Bart in the late game.
The Stargazer will be Medallion, so not really a chance to play for Xayah with that Rageblade. It really will only be potentially LeBlanc coming in later, or maybe even the Kindred if he decides to play into the AD variations instead. Soraka, a chance to heal. I will say, back in the qualifiers in EMEA, there was a game from MKOI where they were going to lose no matter what, and they all hit the 12 HP heal from Soraka on stage 4, and that gave them enough time to scale and win the game. So Soraka can be very influential in 4v4, whereas an individual TFT, not so much the case. We're seeing here the open fort strategy from Salpimi. I believe it is Raiko who is also contesting that open fort. Raiko, he has a thing called he's the magician, because he makes his board disappear by selling all his units early and making a lot of econ. So I think Raiko in 4v4, he feels quite at home. It's like, hey, I do this anyway in, normal TFT. I'm happy to do it here in 4v4 as well.
Also, I'm loving the communication there. We see Gobo, the only Frenchman here at EWC, and they're communicating and in a soft way. This is exactly what you want to see. Cold-minded, talking about the game, but not interrupting themselves. Hey, are we looking for this spot? Can you quit the loose streak? Are you okay with health? Do you have the inflection of gold? Do you need me to help you maybe in a specific round just to get additional tempo? And this is exactly the great place, the elite way to play 4v4.
We're seeing here the two of the healthier players going on a full blue streak, but is playing 4 wins here with the advanced loan. Does get taken down here despite being level 5. From Tianlong, who is potentially one of the players pushing that tempo for Weibo Gaming, both Tianlong and LBTZ trying to stay as healthy as possible in this stage 2. So a pretty even split between the Weibo players in terms of the lose streak and the win streaks.
Salpimi maintaining the lose streak, as you mentioned, and Tianlong, player to watch here to see if he's able to maintain the win streak, preserve that HP that you mentioned is so important here, Panda, and then being able to influx it, to give it to the rest of the team, and being able to give time to LBTC, give time to one to actually pop off with the bodyguard.
Looking at the augment selection, looking at the big picture game plans that will develop in this game, there's a very important thing to mention. 2 players on Weibo Gaming on the bodyguard training you mentioned earlier. These are players who are weak right now. They will be weak in stage 3, but as they level up, they're going to get more and more value from their augments. So they're hoping to kind of slowly curve their tempo and their pressure up, and near the end of the game, they should be the strongest players. This is where I think Godlike has to find a window of opportunity to kind of strike. In stage 3, start of stage 4, when there's still 2 players who are kind of weak, Salpimi maybe as well, if colleagues are held from Godlike. That's kind of the weak spot for Weibo in this game 1. We saw T1 trying to attack that same exact weak spot, stage 3 and start of stage 4. So we'll see if Godlike adapts to the augment selection and to the presented game plans from Weibo.
It's difficult, right? Because you don't want to roll in an interval that is not good for you, but maybe you have to, as you mentioned, punish that stage 3 and be able to keep a little down here the Weibo players. One, a player that played so well last EWC. He was so close with Salpimi discussing the MVP placement. Another player that can really pop off here, playing also a tempo style here. Didn't have the upgrade, so looking a little weak so far. But as you mentioned, the late game is the plan here. He really needs to get stronger right now.
No upgrade, still 92 HP. That's a pretty good spot to be in coming out of stage 2. Definitely indicating he will be playing towards some variation of AP Flex with the JG Slam. Could still be A-Soul, not locked to LeBlanc, so still completely versatile in terms of his game plans going forward. Similar for Gobo, he's just playing on Advanced Loan. Lots of extra econ. We're seeing how rich he is, how much he can hold on his bench while staying above 50. Has the early LeBlanc as well. Doesn't have a bow for the Rageblade, but has still a component anvil. He can potentially find Rabadon's JG Rageblade LeBlanc on 3-1, which is maybe a formula for a bit of a win streak going forward.
Also the early Morgana that is always great to watch here. The best tank in the game right now. Decides to wait. He doesn't know who he's going against, maybe waiting for the last moment to pop off the anvil and make sure if he wants to pressure tempo right now or maybe take it cool.
There it is. He finds the Rageblade. Item's going to be on the LeBlanc for now. As you mentioned, doesn't have the slam just yet. He is going to be facing Dasik. We'll see if he wants to go for the win here. Dasik definitely does. Full slams onto the Lulu for now. And Dasik, I mean, this could be a Lulu spot for him, right? It's Medallion. We saw it being an option. Both Tidal and Revan yesterday played Medallion Lulu. It seems to be one of the favorite constellations for Lulu from our competitors. And it can be a comp that, despite being a reroll comp, can win games. If you hit early enough, if you start printing infinite gold, you can make it to 9 sometimes with a full board of 3 stars.
Yeah, regular TFT player already know this, but for the newcomers, for the people coming only for the show, and of course the possibility of win out points here, Medallion, what it does is Lulu gets a power that gets additional gold, and you want to get a lot of 3 stars in your board, because if you do that, you get even more powerful. So we will see a lot of shiny champions on the other side just popping off, and of course, he gets there, it could be one of the best comps in the game.
Saopimi had a Corki and a Rammus on level 6, but he will not be distracted. He has a mission, and that is 2-cost reroll all across the board with the treasure hunt here, playing around the Jinx and the Akali for now. Has the Jax upgrade already. We did see quite little Jinx compared to Akali yesterday. It was only, I think, Flash Wolves that still prio Jinx quite heavily. I understand why. I think the Akali comp with Kindred, it just caps much higher, and you have the flexibility of playing around both Akali as a 2-cost, or you can just push levels and hit Akali as late as stage 5. We saw from Saopimi yesterday.
Yeah, especially if you have additional items there. We saw a Q1H playing the Jinx yesterday, one of the only ones you mentioned, and pop off. I mean, didn't win the game, but actually pressured the lower stages of the game and got a placement above other players from Vitality, especially, that were trying to look for the win there. So here, Tianlong trying to pressure a little more, already committing to the last Whisper, so not going into the LeBlanc line, and already having additional Nard. We were not expecting to see the Nard as a possibility, but now the angle, great here for Tianlong.
And for Daysig, does pick up Constructor Companion into Aatrox 3, so trying to play for immediate tempo right now. Raiko has played a bit of a board. He's still on a loose streak. He still hasn't really committed to too much. It does seem like Raiko will be playing for just the standard level 8 Space Grooves. Side effects, a pretty strong combat augment for the comp, has the +1, is trying to preserve some HP, but I think we understand he will be going into stage 4 quite low. If he can maybe win a few fights despite breaking the loss streak, I think it could be pretty important, because Space Groove is not necessarily a mech ASOL, you know, come back on 1 HP and guarantee top 4 or win the game. I think it's a little bit less stable than that.
Also for Raiko, this is a player that you want to cheer for. He's Italian, he has all the aura of an Italian, one of the biggest streamers also from the TFT scene from the region. And I mean, he loves to go for the top 1, he loves to play flexible, and I mean, he shows it in the game. Right now, going for the emblem as you mentioned, just trying to go into the vertical of Space Group and trying to pressure the lobby right now. Has the pair of Samira that will be great for the middle stage of the game, but taking a loss here. And this is what you mentioned. If they don't pressure now, it will be tough, but they don't want to roll level 6. So when do you wait? When do you actually change your game plan to actually get more tempo into the lobby?
Ooh, the Echo offering here, so appealing, I have to imagine, for so many of our players. The option for 2/5 cost that you can play around as early as stage 4 is incredibly impactful depending on your game plan. If you're playing Space Groove and you hit a Blitz and then you know, high roll maybe 1 or 2 more Blitzes in the shop, a Blitz 2 on 8 can maybe decide the entire outcome of this matchup in terms of how impactful it would be for a player like Raiko with a +1 already. So we'll see what players end up opting for the Echo boon here, and we'll see what 5 costs we get 4 rounds from now.
Also, Tianlong was the one calling the shots there. Let's take the opportunity we see here on the camera. Tianlong, a player that is the veteran right now here. He wasn't popping off in last EWC, but he did pop off in Tactician Crown just a few weeks ago. He made day 3. He's playing in elite gameplay right now, and he's the leader of the team. Always composure and trying to do the call-outs in the particular way and in the matter of facts here. So already wins us here for the BTC, our bodyguard player with good pop-off potential on stage 4.
Most likely will be playing towards Fast 9 or attempting to. I think we saw this exact kind of game plan and build with Advanced Olympic up in particular. I think he wants to play for maybe an Econ Augment on 4-2. He is currently healthy enough, whereas if he wins the next few fights here, if he wins some fights in stage 4, he finds Timebreaker, I think he has a chance to become the win-out player for Weibo. And they need one, right? Saopimi, most likely playing reroll. We saw the Tianlong on more of the Gnar angle, so I think LBTZ needs to be the player to step up and say, hey, I can win it for our team in this game 1.
Yeah, I love it. LBTC and one are talking. Okay, one of us has to be the real win-out player, and the other one, okay, we both pop off, but there's a moment where you have to choose. Can I give you the HP right now? Can I be lower for you? And do you really have the potential to be the win-out player? So both of them going for the win, but of course, one will have the more influx of HP and maybe the opportunity to step up for the team.
I think one is more likely going to play towards just Fast 8's AP Flex. We're seeing here with the item slams. We're seeing that's how the Timebreaker and Riven pair. If you find the Riven 2 for free, that can be pretty impactful as well. But we're seeing the lose streak here. We're seeing he has less gold. He's still level 6, for example. So I don't see him ever making it to 9, or at least not till quite late into the game. I think he'll be more the stable player that will trade some HP and try and get very strong in stage 4.
Makes total sense. We see them facing each other, so the two win-out players that we have been hyping throughout the first game today. So having that possibility, yeah, one maybe a little weaker on the side there, only having the Emilio on the back end doing a little damage. But of course, the pressure so far. GoBuster did exactly what he was requested to. Punish the lobby a little in HP. 5 win streak for him, and the Frenchman is about to pop off rear right now. If he managed to maintain a little more here, Panda could make the difference.
Bit of a, maybe not a mistake, but I think definitely Guan would have preferred LBTG to get that win, to stay a little bit healthier coming into stage 4. Just a chance to go straight to 9, or yeah, to have more HP to work with. And especially with the fact that there was 3 timebreaker in for Guan, I think he would have been happier with the loss there. But we'll see how everything looks for stage 4, how the game plan starts settling, especially for Godlike. We've been seeing a lot of the spots for Weibo Gaming. We have a clear understanding of what they're playing for in each of their roles for the team. But for Godlike, it's going to come down to someone like Raiko with a decent amount of gold here, finding the Nami 2 right away, finding maybe a high roll Blitz 2 could completely decide the game for him as well, and we'll see the 4-2 augments.
For Salpiming, this will be the big roll down. He really needs, first he wants to pop off Treasure Hunt, but then he needs to find something here. Ideally the Akali, and then transfer the items, but let's see what he managed to cook here.
And we'll see if Godlike holds copies of Akalis. I think you have to in this current format, in this current meta. You have to have every single player holding at least 1 or 2 copies, making life more difficult for the 2-cost reroll players. Salpiming has a Nova emblem already online, has some pretty good items. The Gunblade, of course, is there, has a Stone Plate on the Jack. So a lot of the things you need to make this comp function are there for Salpiming. Gobo we're seeing here also. Of course, we saw earlier with the LeBlanc coming in on stage 3. In a great setup to play AP Flex.
Yeah, already with the 5 Shepard together with the Morgana, this is perfect setup.
LeBlanc pair on 7, having not rolled yet, is pretty good news for Gobo.
Totally great. Also punishing the rest of the lobby and having the chance to pop off. And being so high in HP, this could be maybe not the win-out player, but top 4, top 2 for sure. And if he gets the LeBlanc quickly, as you mentioned, that could make the difference right here. Going up against his teammates, so friendly fire here against Raiko, who hasn't rolled yet, so 4-2 will be the name of the game. Everyone going to stage 8 and trying to pressure the lobby from now on.
We have to look at Raiko and Guan. They will both be rolling down heavily on 4-2. They will both be rolling down for the same units, and they are both tasked with stabilizing their HP and trying to rise up in the HP standings for their team. We're looking at Gobo and Raiko right now, both players from Godlike. Coming through on a big roll down, Gobo finds an early Bard, a good pickup and addition. You want to roll right past the Namis, allow them to maybe populate Raiko's shops as well.
Makes sense.
Raiko taking his time here. He's holding on to Kindred as well. He's maybe trying to, get in the way of some of the Nova players on the side of Weibo Gaming.
Holding also the Nar, trying to contest and grief a little the Weibo players. Doesn't find the additional. Already having the Pero, Morgana, and LeBlanc you mentioned, but doesn't find. Decides to go to True Zero, finds the Nunu. Great front line right now together with the 5 Shepherd, but doesn't find the LeBlanc that is also so important.
Raiko's going pretty slow here. Doesn't have any kind of a board set up yet. Does not have 2-3 timebreaker in either. He just put in the Gwen last minute. So Raiko, a very slow turn. He's going to have to settle the board a little bit better on 4-3. Not quite where he wanted to be, I think, coming into this 4-2 round. Especially the fact that he is one of the lowest HP players on his team, right? Despite the 3 win streak.
Yes. So Gobo, I mean, playing defense a little, holding the Akalis, holding the Nar on the bench, but he really needs to pop off here. So this will be the name of the game here. Nami access to the backline, but it's not enough. Nunu makes good defense here. Should be enough here for both GoBuster maintaining health together with Basic right now. Being on the pop-off, LBTC taking a good win here against Dohua, who now is in danger zone right now in HP.
We'll look at the roll down from Salpiming, still on the same 6 Akalis that we saw earlier. He is not actually rolling down heavily at all. These are the 2 sides of the kind of the possibilities with Akali. You either roll very heavily on the earlier levels and you go for Akali 3 right away, or you wait and you play for Vex, you play for Kindred, and you play for Akali. You play for all 3 of them. You kind of slow roll for Akali on level 7 or level 8, and you end up hitting Akali maybe in stage 5 like we saw yesterday, but that's good enough to really still have a good performance for your team. And the Vex pair must be very, very tantalizing for Salpiming. I have to imagine one of them came from the Echo. Has to be from the Echo. Maybe the duo Q as well. Pretty good hits for Salpiming, considering he's still on level 7 and hasn't rolled.
Yeah, you have so much power coming in from Nova to all the units, and Vex is exactly loves that. Vex is a unit that hits the entire board and caps out so huge, and now having the Nova early is a great placement for him. Very difficult to find the Vex 2-star right now in level 7, but should be stable for now.
Uh-oh, Dehua, another loss here. He needs to stabilize. He needs to turn this loss streak around. It's a 7-loss streak now. Raiko, not surprisingly, also has lost his last 2 rounds. We saw his board did not look finished at all on the 4-2 roll down. Does Salpimi have time to hit the 5-cost shop and maybe hit the Vex 2? This is a very interesting option. If players have enough HP, they can try and go for the higher risk play of playing for the 5-cost, especially if you're 1 copy away from a major spike.
Yeah, that's exactly the option they're looking for, and this will be the inflection point. Very important for them to find the additional carries. Most of the tacticians right now are rolling to True Zero, so no one has really gold. So positioning very important right now. The removers will be used throughout the game right now to actually influx HP to the rest of the game. Gobo and Daisy being on the top and having the possibility to give HP to the rest of the game will be important, but LBTC on the other hand, he needs to keep winning and want to pressure the lobby.
It's go time for both of these players. They need to finish off their boards. They need to win this next round no matter what. If they don't, it's very bad news for Godlike overall. Raiko has to finish off his board. He needs the Nami 2 in particular. He has just a single copy of Blitz for now, and he has not been able to hit the Nami at all. He was holding onto his gold for, I think, too many rounds in this stage 4. For Dehua, he has hit the A-Soul too. He has the Leon on the front line. Items have been removed, and they're facing each other, which is not what you want to see, with both players being at maybe 2 lives already at this point in stage 4.
Yeah, I think Dehua knows that the cap out for Raiko is a lot stronger, so decides not to put the units here, making sure he gets the win here for Raiko. Stacks 1 here for him. Raiko is lower in HP. Great gameplay here from Dehua, taking the punish, right? Taking the defense play and making sure Raiko then has the additional possibility to pop off.
You would have loved maybe like 1 or 2 more unit kills for Dehua, because that would be maybe 2 lives, even in stage 5. It is so hard, of course, to min-max these fight results in 4v4 when you're playing up against a teammate. But for LBTZ, very different story. We're seeing LeBlanc 2 has been found. He is trying to make his way to 9. He's also playing great defense. I would like to see him maybe buying and selling the Vex if Salpimi is still rolling this turn. Or maybe he's hit it already and we haven't seen that. But the Nami holds here are fantastic for LBTZ.
Doesn't find the Nunu, that is also important for him. So LBTZ just looking for the tank, and of course Raiko looking for the damage that is so important. Salpimi still with the 2 copies of Vex, managed to find the level 8, doesn't have gold to level 9, so he will be in the hands of the gods, if you will, to try to find the pop-up here.
This is a very important fight. Gobo, he is currently at 75 HP, 3 win streak. He's maybe the stable point for Godlike right now, considering the rest of his teammates. It would be so important for him to win this fight, but the Vex Akali combo seems to be so strong. It is a close result. LeBlanc is down, and the Vex carries the fight for Salpimi. Despite being only on 12 gold, stuck on level 8 a little bit, his board is already so strong.
Yeah, both with high HP, Salpimi obviously with the possibility of finding the Vex, and Gobo in a pressure moment right now, so difficult possibilities. We see the chance here for Dehua just to get a little stronger, finds the Aurelion Soul 2-star, finds also the front line, looking better right now and not thinking about that level 9 and popping off with Baran Sona. Doesn't have the gold for it. If he has additional time, he could, but the HP is not helping here.
I think the problem is that Dehua maybe wanted to be the win-out player, playing more for 5 costs in this AP Flex line, but he has not stabilized at all on stage 4. We're seeing there 4 out of the 5 rounds were losses. Looking at the HP totals, it is not looking good for Godlike. They essentially cannot lose any rounds, or any fights rather, in the start of this stage 5. If they do, the moment you face your teammate, you're eliminating yourselves. It's going to be very hard to fight for the win in terms of the total point placements.
Also, Godlike was playing defense throughout all the game, holding the nards, and finally Tianlong managed to find it, printing the nard with the meeple, and now has an additional chance here. Finds also the Jhin, so double carry for him. Great front line there with the Ramos being so big with the anomaly from Echo, and now a good chance for Tianlong to keep the punish up.
Able to go to 9, has a 3 sniper online as you're mentioning. All the items have been removed, so you can sack HP for someone like Guan. Guan is sitting on a Blitz pair. He's sitting on the potential Ornn 3 as well, so it is looking very scary. We're seeing at least 3 players on Weibo who are very close to really big spikes coming into stage 5, and I'm not sure Godlike will be able to hang with these players.
Yeah, so tough. Also, we see holding Ornn there, so possibility to Ornn 3, having an additional chance there to have an additional front line. Tianlong takes the stack here, and this fight is so important. Dehua takes out 1 HP for him, almost out against Salpimi that is so strong. And now he just has to roll. He has to try to find something, has the pair of bar, but it's only level 8. So hard to find right now.
They take a 5-loss streak, finally just able to hit the Lulu 3. Is it too little, too late? The itemization is fantastic, but you're at 17 HP. That should be 2 lives, still similar for Raiko. But I mentioned we needed maybe full wins from Godlike in that last round. It was not the case. Gobo lost the fight. Daehwa down to 1 HP as well. We'll see who Daehwa faces. He's in a do-or-die moment. This team did not go 8th at all yesterday against Fnatic. This could be their first 8th place. And it's Gobo versus Daehwa. Items have not been removed from the LeBlanc. They have been removed from the front line. Yep. Is that enough for Daehwa to stay alive? Is Gobo able to throw a lifeline to his teammate?
Should be enough. The Leona is holding strong here for Daehwa. So GoBuster playing defense, making sure he has an additional chance here for Daehwa to roll for the bar 2-star and then have a possibility here to maybe avoid that 8th place that is so important. But 3 members down there is just too tough here, Panda.
There's a bar 2. That might be exactly what the doctor ordered. Will it be enough for the comeback here from Daehwa from 1 HP to maybe a win out now that he has some of his 5 costs online? But we're still level 8, right? We're still very far from making it to 9. I think we have to be kind of realistic. You could maybe win a few more fights with the Bard now fully online.
And for Daisy, I mean, this is the moment when you need maybe 4 or 5, even 3-star right now. He only has 4 or 3, if you will. Didn't find the Emilio, only find the Lulu that you mentioned. So the strength right now for the medallion composition is just not strong enough.
And this is where preserving HP early matters so much. Gobo, a second lifeline to his teammates, keeping Daisy alive, taking items off the front line yet again. For Daehwa, he's up against Tianlong, a pivotal 1v1 here. Both players very low on HP, but Daehwa, especially, he's on his last life. Is the AP board able to beat the Nard? It is a pretty convincing win, but not an elimination, it looks like. I'll have to check the HP totals.
So close here. Daehwa 1 HP. Tianlong should be lower right now. So
I believe he's also 1 HP, so it could be a pretty crazy turn of events here for both teams.
Also having the chance, this is perfect. I mean, they have to avoid facing each other, especially Daisy and Daehwa, just to get a chance here to have a chance. And Xiaopimi is just going down right now, 3 win streak, but his composition is just not strong enough right now to hold. The placement, the matchup is now the important part. Decides to pop the units here and just get stronger and stronger for Daehwa.
A 2-win streak. We'll see if Daehwa can continue this, but it will be a forced elimination, unfortunately, for Godlike. Daehwa versus Daesik. Bard 2 versus Lulu 3. No matter the outcome, this could be a bad result, but if Daehwa gets the win and Tianlong gets a bigger loss, that could be a dodge on the 8th place. So actually very important for this to be a close fight. It isn't. Daesik will get hit pretty hard here. Does Tianlong get hit harder? That's the question.
Tianlong wins against Gobo here. This is exactly what we didn't want to happen here for Godlike. So Weibo doing great in the layer setup again. LBTC, one of the win-up players, didn't manage to pop off. So goes down, but Daisy takes the 8th. So it's a 1-point win right now for Weibo.
The smaller loss there would be so important for both teams. In the end, Daisy took a bigger hit, and that will be the first 8th place for Godlike in this tournament. Weibo, I mean, I'm looking at them. They look very, very scary, especially Xiaopimi. The moment he hits the Vex 2, I think he's going to take over this game. Raiko did turn the corner. We talked about him being a little bit slow on stage 4 on his level 8 roll down. He's managed now to turn this around into a 6-win streak, but the rest of the standings, I mean...
1 life for 4 players, yeah.
And Xiaopimi has 51 HP.
Gobo against Daehwa here. One of them will be eliminated. Access to backline, strong side. Great positioning here from the other side. And the Morgana is just holding too strong. No damage coming in from Daehwa. No access to backline. Meanwhile, the LeBlanc is popping off and ramping in results.
Leona holding on. Daehwa's Ace-ul, the Bard, the combo, 3 damage. There's going to be enough to take down Gobo. This was expected. I think Daehwa was maybe the player that we wanted to see try and fight for level 9 for the 5 cost, whereas Gobo was more the stable player. It will be Gobo going down in 6th, Guan going down in 5th place, and this is going to require a win, of course, from Godlike to have any chance, and more importantly, they need to take down Xiaopimi. I think he is the player to defeat from Weibo Gaming.
So difficult right now because 2 points down, you really need to pop off here. Both players need to step up and have an additional chance here. So Weibo playing great defense throughout the game. And now Dohwa, the player that was helped by the rest of the team, is the one that is trying to pop off. Very close to level 9. He should be able to pop off right now. Goes to level 9, trying to find anything additional here. Carries, especially the Sona. Doesn't find the pair, finds one Blitzcrank. But he really needs the Sona to start. There's the pair. One more for him, and he could make the difference.
We're seeing still the Akali's being held, so giving us information that Salpimi has still not hit his own Akali 3, which is the next probably big spike along with the Vex 2 for that Nova board. Pivotal fight here. Daehwa has to dodge the 4th place. Tianlong and Daehwa could face each other potentially, but it will be Tianlong versus Salpimi. Items removed from the Vex for Salpimi. Raiko versus Daehwa, and I don't see any items removed from Raiko. Is Daehwa stronger than Raiko? That's the question here.
Yeah, Tianlong trying to find the bar. We see it on the bench. So friendly fire and Salpimi helping here, but is it enough? Is the transfer of HP here going to make the difference?
Daehwa does win. Raiko does stay alive. That's the exact outcome they were expecting for Tianlong.
And Tianlong is out.
He will be going down. The Belveth does enough for Salpimi despite the item removal on the Vex. That's how strong Salpimi is coming into this stage 6. And it's all about the win now. Whoever gets the win takes the game.
Dohwa finds the Sona to start. The game plan works right now. They find the win-out player. Dohwa is capping the board totally. Raiko finds the ribbon, and now Salpimi, who's been grief throughout the game right now, trying to find the Akali 3-star. It just doesn't look like it's enough. This could be the win-out trading position in the end.
The Vex being held here as well from Daehwa in the shop. If Salpimi hasn't hit the Vex 2 yet, I believe he does actually. We did see it, yeah. It's a Vex 2 already. Static Shiv as well off of the treasure hunt. I mean, this is a really strong setup. The do or die moment, the first big test here. Can Raiko beat Salpimi? That's the board we have to look at. Actually, on both sides, the players are both facing Salpimi. It's the ghost for Raiko, so maybe an expected win. For Daehwa, it's the real board. Daehwa is not looking too bad. The AP flex board is looking maybe strong enough. Salpimi taken down a notch. Is it going to be enough from Godlike in this stage 6?
It doesn't look like nothing else can be fine for Salpimi. He's looking for the Hail Mary right now, trying to look for some position, but Dohwa just managed to find the inflection point. The moment where he's so strong right now, having everything in place, and Salpimi couldn't find the Akali. Well hold, well played defense here by Godlike. And I'm just impressed. They play for the Hail Mary for Dohwa to find the Bard at level 8. He managed to find it, and now the possibility to turn the game around.
And Salpimi holding down the fort against the 2 players from Godlike, both on AP boards, very different variants. It will be Daehwa versus Raiko's Ghost here. Daehwa, I mean, currently seems to be the strongest player. Already beat Raiko earlier on without any items removed from Raiko. He's on a 6-win streak right now. Raiko versus Salpimi. Salpimi on 22 HP, that should still be 2 lives. So even if Raiko wins here, the game will continue forward. And it looks like maybe both players from Godlike are currently stronger than Salpimi. The Vex 2 is not enough to win these fights.
Access to backline there. We saw Daehwa just popping off here, going down, but Salpimi doesn't have the gas here to fight it out against Raiko. Raiko just won against the Ghost, and now with a chance to take the win for Godlike if he wins the next round against Salpimi.
And Raiko isn't able to go 10. He knows it's the last fight of the game, considering that both players are on their last life. So he's rolling down for anything he can do to improve his board, even a tiny bit. But what else do you need? You've hit all your upgrades. You have the Blitz online. Your last item popped. So the positioning looks pretty standard here for Raiko. Not much more to change.
Also block the Hail Mary. Salpimi maybe could sell something and try to find something 3-star. Very difficult, but just trying to make sure he was holding the units there. Salpimi couldn't find that 2-star.
Yeah, the Shen, the Akali, not yet upgraded to the final form.
Having a chance here, Raiko taking the win here. Full damage here with the Space Group. Nami doing so much damage. Blitzcrank 2-star, everything assembled for Raiko, and it's just not enough for the Nova board.
The Blitz is still healthy, but the Akali's onto the Nami. The Nami is taken down. The Blitz is down as well. Salpimi wins the only fight that matters. Weibo takes the game 1. The hero, yet again, the MVP for Weibo Gaming.
Salpimi.
We thought it was over.
He
lost fights to both Daehwa and to Raiko, but in the end, he turned it around.
That's what happened was you have Akali. The emblem was doing, the community knows, and Salpimi, experienced players you mentioned, our MVP for 2025, now having an additional chance, gets a little elongation here, just having a chance to pop off. They don't believe it, but they play to this. They play for the angle for Sao Pimi to pop off, and in the end, he made it happen. We see the expression here. They know they had it, Panda, and now making the loss, they need to reinforce the mental and try to pop off in the next one.
Godlike with their first loss of the tournament in any game, really, after their 2-0 against Fnatic. A bit of a shock on their faces. I think a lot of plot twists throughout this game. Coming to stage 6, we thought Sao Pimi would be the strongest player. Didn't hit a Kali 3. We thought there's a sliver of hope maybe for both AP players on Godlike. Raiko and Dehua back-to-back wins against Sao Pimi's real board. But in the fight that matters, the only fight that really decides the game, Sao Pimi comes up clutch yet again and takes it for his team. A Game 1 lead. Different to what we saw yesterday against T1. Weibo Gaming started off on the back foot there. And now a different story coming into Game 2. Godlike forced to step up, to bounce back, to get their mental in check, to have someone like Daysik maybe leading their team with a composure, with a calmness to try and bounce back and recover in the upcoming Game 2.
And we know Sao Pimi, when he starts strong, he keeps getting stronger. The emotion here, I mean, he feels the pride. He knows that he actually pop off, and this is exactly what you need. And if you have Weibo winning the first round, normally they manage to close it. This is really difficult for him. For Godlike, they have to know they played it great. Elite gameplay in 4v4, transferring HP, doing what they have to, just checking additional mistakes here, and they really can pop off. So, I mean, we see the expression right now for Raiko. I mean, a player that can for sure ramp up about this one, but I mean, just in the last moment, this is just too tough for them.
And if it's working, don't change it. Sao Pimi, his 4th game on the Nova line, a lot of Akali as well. And it seems to me he has the best idea. But we're going to hear from Kitty in an interview on the stage.
Hello everyone, I grabbed Sao Pimi, our MVP for Game 1. So I wanted to ask, when did you know that Game 1 was a WBG win? 想问一下 Sao Pimi 选手，第一把你是从哪一刻觉得这把已经拿下了呢？
从那个寻宝第2个出了一个金铲铲之后，我觉得这把应该就拿下了。
I got a golden spatula in the 2nd round. Thank you so much, Selfie 选手。可以下台了，谢谢。Thank you so much. That's going to be the mid-game update.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by play.
We knew it was going to be a great series, and it didn't disappoint. Back and forth they went, but Weibo Gaming get the job done to lead 1-0 in this best-of-3 series. And let me remind you, the winner moves forward to the playoff bracket. No drama, no lower bracket. They just go straight into it. But whoever loses, well, they've got their tournament life on the line, fighting for their key. Who's it going to be? Let's find out. Welcome back into the Allianz Vault studio. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble Stewart Casanova. Good to see you too. What a game it was. Casanova, Kitty, pulled one of the players aside. Sao Pimi had a chance to do a quick interview. What did we learn?
Well, we did learn that he felt that the win came when he found that golden spatula. He got it off of his treasure hunter, and since he's in the uncontested Akali line, getting that Nova emblem is a huge difference maker, putting Godlike on the back foot because there's always the looming threat of that first place.
Our FMVP from last year looking great and poised for potentially another win and another title defense. Of course, we'll have to wait for that. Walk me through start to end, because there was a lot of back and forths, and at one point we thought Godlike Esports might be able to take it.
Yeah, it all started off with really the early stage 2. I mean, we saw this yesterday, something I brought up in the pre-show as well. The stage 2, Godlike don't really play for the win streaks and the loss streaks. You know, we saw the, Day6 and Raiko only had like 4 streaks in the end, and it was actually Weibo that had the 5 win streak, the 5 loss streak. And you thought at that point, it's like, will that come back to bite them? Will that be something that it's going to be a bit of a mistake. We saw then when going into stage 3 and stage 4 that the players for Godlike Esports starting to fall rapidly in terms of HP.
And let me stop you there because now we're at stage 4, Casanova. We're moving into stage 5. We take a look at our first action of the game, and it is stage 5-5, and this is where things start to look up for Godlike.
Well, and you can even look at this board, and you can see 3 different players on those blinking health bars looking like they're about to fall, and this is where Dehua was able to find that Bard 2 at the last moment. He had been free falling for many rounds prior to this. We thought the game was over, Weibo was going to have it, but Dehua was able to actually stay alive due to this Bard, and he ends up putting Godlike in a potentially winning position from there.
Yeah, I think it all came down to as well the Godlike players being able to save HP for each other as well. Just before this round, all the players on Godlike were so low on blinking health bars, as you mentioned, also low on 1 HP. Of course, here in the end, Dehua actually taking out his teammate Dasik, who went 8th in the end as well. And on the other side, it was actually Tien Anh that stayed alive and avoided that 8th place spot.
So at this point, we're thinking, Godlike, hold up a second. They went from looking down and out to potentially coming back. But as we know, Weibo Gaming did in fact win the game. So Casanova, we go now to past stage 5 in towards the end. We take a look at our final action. What ended up unfolding to allow Weibo to take back control over Godlike?
So this is where we think there is a potential mistake from Godlike in the end game. We had both Raiko and Dehua take on Salpimi. Raiko fought the Ghost and won. Dehua fought the real Salpimi and also won. But considering that Dehua fought the real Salpimi and won by a large margin, it's potentially correct for Godlike to have Raiko sell his entire board so that he doesn't take out Dehua.
No, exactly that. I think it's so perfectly poised for that. When you're in this position, you maybe think that Raiko can also win this as well because he beat the Ghost, but when it comes to the strong board as well, on this uncontested line for Salpimi, unfortunately not hitting the Akali 3, but being so strong thanks to that Nova emblem that he found from the treasure hunt as well. Raiko not being able to sell his board, and actually Dehua dying in the end meant that it was down to this 1 versus 1 that we can see.
Yeah, it's hard to tell for sure because Salpimi's board was so good, but this may have been a case of rock, paper, scissors, where Dehua beats Salpimi, Salpimi beats Raiko, and Raiko beats Dehua. So with the team play of 4v4, that gives you the opportunity for Godlike to have tried to make a play and sell out Raiko's board.
And these are the simple things, and these are the little things as well that can be such a big difference in a 4 versus 4 environment. Understanding what board states are like, understanding who is stronger at this point as well. But I think the overall point of this game as well is, you know, Godlike not going for that Akali, not finding someone to contest that Akali. And as the casters pointed out as well, this is Salpimi's comfort zone. He played this yesterday as well, treasure hunt into Akali. He was uncontested, didn't find the Akali 3, but at Vexer in the end as well, thanks to the gods from Echo being able to find 2 Vexes at level 7.
And I think when we break down further the game plan of Godlike into this one, they were accepting that this was an uncontested Akali. They were grabbing Akali, all of them were grabbing Akalis on their roll down, and they may have even conceded that first place might not go to them in this game because Salpimi was going to be so strong, particularly with that emblem and the early Vex that he found. But from there, it just ended up being some of these fights not swinging their way in the end game. They took the 8th and the 6th, losing those first 2 kind of duo pairs, losing out in the bottom side of the tables, and it forces them to have to find a win, and that's where they were not able to convert at the end of this game.
And it's a new adaptation that players have had to do pretty much since the end of the Tactician's Crown, right? This Akali composition kind of coming out of nowhere. We know that these 2-cost rerolls are going to be very, very important in a 4 versus 4 environment. You can't all pay for that level 8, level 9. You need some rerolls, and this Akali composition has kind of come out of nowhere and has been dominating every round.
And I think just taking a step back and looking at just the Godlike versus Weibo matchup, Godlike does a lot of VOD review. They looked at Weibo's games from yesterday, and they actually felt that while the team was very coordinated and clean and strong, they felt like they were beatable. They could bleed. And even in this first game, you're starting to see glimpses of that with how close Godlike came to taking that.
You two are so good at your job. I just want you to know that, okay? Shout out to you guys. We take a look at the fall during that celebration as Weibo ends up taking it. Obviously, a sigh of relief. Weibo once again trying to be the title defenders and winning this game puts them 1 step closer to doing so and grabbing the heart, obviously, in these intense moments. And, you know, the power of friendship, they're having fun out there for sure. But on the opposite side for Godlike Esports, you know, there's going to be a lot of stress, as you can see in this moment, grabbing the head. You know, at the end of the day, man, these are tough matches. At one point, you think you're leading and you think you're going to win. At the other, all of a sudden you are losing, forced to survive and win 2 games in a row. Riot is doing a lot when it comes to the Esports World Cup. Not only TFT, but also check this out.
The TFT Open is coming back to Vegas. I just hope there's no conflicts.
Why would there be?
We're bringing the first North American Regional Championship to Vegas.
So excited. Cool model.
Thanks, it's extremely fragile.
Where's my TFT Open?
And my first ever NA Regional Championship.
They've combined
into some sort of
Convergence Fest? 2 games in one place at the same time? Can we do it?
We have to.
Convergence Fest, TFT Vegas Open and the Riftbound North America Regional Championship, December 11th through December 13th, 2026.
A lot of fun stuff happening over there. Riot doing a lot right. TFT as well here for the really 5 days. Now 4 more days left in day number 2. It's been exciting for sure. This is just the very start. And again, just a reminder for all of you all at home, this is Stream A. We also have Stream B taking place right now. 2 series at all times. 8 total games today. 2 to move forward to playoffs. 2 for the keys to be crushed. Now, boys, coming back down to reality. Weibo, they're feeling okay. They're up 1-0. Godlike, though, need to win 2 in a row. I know it's possible, obviously. They're great competitors. They're here for a reason. I mentioned the history of Godlike beating Fnatic, how much that series meant to them. They clearly have the confidence. But now, going into, of course, this next match, it's simply not going to be easy. But, of course, they're going to have to do it. Hey, a lot of emotions out there. Let's head to the stage.
And it's a do or die moment already for Godlike. The first time in this tournament that they feel their backs up against the wall. Salpimi, the hero for Weibo Gaming, setting the pace on this series, the very first series of this day 2. We'll see how and if Godlike can bounce back.
100%. Weibo is showing why they are the title holders right now for EWC 4v4. The same roster, going up against and trying to find the cup, already winning against T1, and now with the chance to take out a team that went 2-0 against Fnatic, a team that is doing great, a team that is exactly knowing how to play 4v4, and this is a teachable moment for everyone who wants to learn 4v4, exactly to check how these players are giving gold to each other, giving resources, HP especially, and of course the high bane, especially from this guy, Salpimi, MVP for 2025, now the MVP for the previous game, trying to pop off once again.
The Stargazer will be the Huntress coming into this game 2 of the series. Very good for Jack's hero augments, not so good for Lulu and Zaya. And we will be having Kale and Echo as the gods. Kale, a lot of extra items, a chance for a duo, a trio carry setup coming into the late game. And Echo, I mean, we saw Echo last game, a lot of 5 costs, a lot of high rolls with Artifact potentially. Yep. And the chance to synergize with a loose streak player as well early with Divine Intervention. You can then have this massive spike round coming to stage 4.
The anomaly, of course, one of the mechanics that we have for TFT in the last sets. Tianlong, once again, the veteran, the player that went to TAC just a week ago and did a great performance right now, already with a great start together with the Primordials, trying to get additional economy here and just trying to pop off items. Lurian a little sketchy for now.
I think Salpimi's going to tell him, hey man, sell that Akali. I'm the Akali player on this team. Of course, if someone has a better spot, I think Salpimi will seed the way, but in 4 games that this team has played, Salpimi has played some variation of Akali in every single one of them.
Looking for any possibilities here. Not rolling the nest. Goes for gold immediately, just trying to pop off right now. Has an economy situation here with the Primordials, also holding the time breaker to have that chance. So he will once again play slow and then think about the late stage of the game to try to pop off.
And Tianlong saying, you know, it's helping me. My spot is pretty good. I have a Akali pair, I have 2 Belvet, I have Primordian start, I have a lot of gold. Maybe I should be the Akali player in this game. We will see if he's given the red carpet treatment, if he's allowed to play into the line easily. For Guan, we're seeing Clear Mind, an early Talon 2. 9 gold currently. If he wins this fight, that would be great for interest. Oh, wants to just sell, wants to guarantee he gets the interest no matter what. And we'll be playing for more of a loose streak angle, most likely.
Spatula here also for Gobo, having a good chance. Goes immediately for the Nova, defending the line. This was the composition that Salpimi used in the previous game to win it out. He got the spot later into the game. So now Gobo, knowing that he's early into it, it will be defense play immediately from Weibo trying to hold him up and keep him down.
And has the Lesser Champion duplicator as well, so I think a pretty good reason and a good angle to play into the Akali line and try and contest and stop Weibo Gaming from getting away with it one more time. For Raiko, it will be the Heart of Steel, gold printing Arbiter as well as we saw there, so some extra econ potential. And wow, a Leona 2 right away in the shop for the Magician, a very good tempo start in terms of AP flex.
And for him, this is a player that the mental has to pop off. He was the one having the possibility to win it out in the previous game against Saupimi, couldn't close the game. Some positioning maybe, but especially the pop-up from Saupimi being so strong with the additional emblem. So now Raiko needs to shake it out. He needs to really perform at his peak. And now with this interest, I think it's a great composure game for him to start to ramp up.
The Vanguard comes in, Raiko maybe opting to sell the Ezreal if he was trying to play for the 10 gold threshold, if he wants to play for just the AP flex and forget about any kind of econ traits going forward. The longer these fights are, the better for these Steadfast stacking the extra HP here.
Yeah, having a chance, also having two already, one with the augment and one with the items is so good. So once again, thinking about the later stage of the game, thinking about a big tank there in the front line, holding units here, just trying to make sure. Losing right now, maybe going for the Primordial also to defense a little. LBTC, a player that likes to play a little more tempo, already having the Winsus here. Good front line with the artifacts, and now just trying to... He's the player to pressure the lobby, maintain health, and then try to transfer to the others.
With the artifact coming in, wants to be the win streak player for Weibo Gaming in this stage 2. A great combination, Rage Blade Slam. You want these longer stage 2 fights when there's just so little DPS for most of your units. And then, of course, the chance for the Light Shield Crest to put in a lot of work here.
See the face-up right now, 4 players, 3 players already still with 100 HP. We see here, 1 with Clear Mind, thinking also about leveling deep. And once again, LBTC playing tempo, 1 trying to pop off. He wasn't the pop-up player in the later stage of the game, had a good plan, but didn't work, similar to Daisy. Daisy trying to play the cap-up with Lulu, didn't work out, went in the end. But you need those type of players. Maybe you will not win the game, but you need to take risks right now against this elite level of play.
How does Saupimi do it? He has hit treasure hunts again. I think he also had a treasure hunt game yesterday. So out of the 5 games he's played on the EWC stage this year, he's found treasure hunts on 3 of those games. One of the best augments for a reroll, one of the best augments for Akali, because you are trying to roll at all these different stages of the game when playing for the Akali upgrades, and then the Kindred, and then the Vex as well. So a really good setup for Weibo Gaming right away.
Divine intervention.
As we mentioned earlier, if you're playing for a lose streak like one, if you're playing for Clear Mind, you're stacking HP anyway, you might as well have this little extra plus coming for you in stage 4.
We see it there on Tianlong, 1 as you mentioned, so these players will be so strong, especially on the early stages of stage 4, and that will be the players to watch, trying to pop off with possibilities, and the rest just looking for tempo. So once again, total spread right now, and the teammates are already doing their plan. And once again, the players who want to pop off in the later stage of the games is Weibo. So now, more important for them to try to pop off and maintain the win streak throughout the game.
We saw some Arbiter options there for LBTZ. Not too convinced for now. I'm not sure selection came through in the end. They're just going to play around this Caitlyn for now with the Fate Weaver online. And we'll see if he wants to go for LeBlanc with the Rage Blade Slam or if he's considering playing around some variation of AD. We mentioned Xayah, not really an option with the Huntress. And I think the Nova line will be quite populated. We're seeing it from Gobo. We're most likely seeing it from Saupimi as well.
Yeah, it's a difficult spot right now. Difficult to play Xayah also, maybe Vex, but he will need a very high economy on the later series of the game. Keeping himself open, getting additional possibilities, getting the Vanguard, also Chance and the Arbiter to maybe try to go into that Shepherd line that you mentioned. That's obviously the default, so we should be seeing LeBlanc here. Meanwhile, we see Gobo holding deep here with the Nova emblem, and you're already with a plan. This is exactly what you want to see. Probably Saupimi will be the one contesting with the treasure hunt.
And LBTZ yesterday seems to be the player who just fills in whatever role is needed. He's kind of the flex player on the team. He played some Corki yesterday to great success, actually. One of the few players who had good results on the Corki line, the Fast 8 line in stage 4. But of course with Rage Blade, not going to be the case here. Looking at the win streakers and the lose streakers, this is the 2 sides of the coin for Godlike. Dehua, he's playing for Birthday Reunion. He's playing for fast 9.
Time breaker.
You can't really full loss the entire game to get to 9. You have to start winning at some point and try and preserve some HP with some like tempo window to get to 9 in a comfortable position and not to be on 1 life. But this is the 2 flip side. And yeah, perfect matchup. Gobo on the 4 win. Daehwa on the 4 loss. They meet right in the middle, and they get exactly what they want for the team.
Also, just in case, taking out the Cho'Gath in the last second just to make sure he maintains the lose streak, and now in a perfect pop-up place, as you mentioned. Top of the board here for Gobo, Dowa maintaining the lose streak, and Saopimin the other one. So Gobo and Saopimin will ramp it out there in the end, and for him it's a great spot. He can roll right now to get value from Treasure Hunt and the Augment, and once again, it will be the MVP from last year, the pop-up flare that will at least pressure the middle stage of the game for Weibo.
Pretty scary from Saopimin. With Treasure Hunt overall, we've seen mostly Saopimin playing an open fort and then rolling very heavily on 3-2 to stabilize. So he's usually coming into his roll down around 70 HP. In this case, able to get a 5 win streak essentially for free off of a very good Briar start with Primordian, getting extra econ. If he can win 3-1, or maybe he'll roll a bit. I don't think he has enough gold actually to roll to 6 or level to 6 and roll on 3-1. If he wins 3-1 and then he rolls heavily on 3-2 off the Treasure Hunt, that can be a 10 win streak very easily for Saopimin here.
Yeah, very close to the Rek'Sai also. It's very important to have 1 tank at least to take the damage, and having 6 already is perfect because you roll a 6,
wow,
you get
so much gold coming in from the orbs.
Exactly what he needed. 40 right now, the threshold for him. Let's see if he pop-ups. The safest place to wait 1 more round for 3-2. But of course, he needs to balance the rest of the lobby to see if he can actually maintain the win streak here against Gobo.
An early Riven on level 5 as well when he has the Briar and he has the Kaisa and he's playing around Rogue anyway. I mean, this is a really strong start. The Gunblade is found as well for Saopimin if he is considering being the Akali player contesting Gobo on the same line.
Gobo pressures. Gobo decides to go deep here. Saopimin stays at level 5, so it will be important here. Gobo trying to snap the win streak here from Saopimin, and Saopimin playing a little more greedy, waiting 1 more round.
Yeah, it's really important if they face against each other. It will not be the case. The board is also looking very strong here from Raiko. Has a Nunu already, has the Zoe online. And Raiko, a player that maybe is going to be streaking some part of this stage 3 as well with the Leona 2 and the early Nunu.
Yeah, committing the death play also. Having a good chance here for Gobo to just keep ramping up. Having the Akali 2 is just too strong. So he should be a little stronger than Saopimin, but Saopimin won the grid race. Won the possibility of not being able here to hit, and now with the chance to take also the win out spot. Let's see if he makes it. 5 win streak. No, he takes the loss. So works out here for the Godlike, and now Saopimin will have to step up from this round on.
Pretty important loss there for Saopimin, for Godlike at least, because yeah, it's going to cut that potential 10 win streak in terms of Saopimin next big spike here with the Treasure Hunt proc coming through on 3-2. Prismatic augment for Saopimin, advanced loan of course for Tianlong, which means he's getting a gold augment, so a pretty big punish for Tianlong. You always want the better option, which is gold to silver instead of prismatic to gold. You lose a lot more value from prismatic to gold, but it will be sweet treats for Saopimin. A lot of extra items already. You get item components from Treasure Hunt, so really good synergy between both of these augments, and you have so many good hits on the artifacts for the Akali, for the Vex, for your tanks as well, for the Kindred, even if you have attack speed artifacts. We'll see the options here. Mogul's Mail, maybe the safe generic tank option.
We saw Twitter yesterday saying Lich Bane Riven, so we saw it on Analyst Lex also as a possibility, but of course going for the default and having a great chance right now. Raiko, looking for showing AP flex for him. Doesn't have a strong board for now, just thinking about the later stages of the game, ramping up together with the Heartsteel, ramping up with Baron Lair. So thinking about holding gold right now and then having a full cap board on level 8 probably.
Raiko will likely play for Space Groove yet again. The same exact thing we saw from him in the last game. Almost the winner in that game 1. Not quite able to defeat Saopimin, unfortunately. But for Raiko, I think really good augment synergy as well. The Heart of Steel into the Baron's Lair, gets the 3rd tank item for the Leona right now. You are allowed to extend these fights even further. You're on a lose streak now, yes, but the same thing happened last game from Raiko, and he was almost the winner. So he definitely knows how to play from behind. I think it's where he feels most comfortable, actually. And we're going to see him spiking in a big way on stage 4.
Yeah, as you mentioned, holding the space group right now, so that's the default line. Also holding some possibilities here with the Leona to try to stay on the Vanguard, already having the Nunu as a chance. So, I mean, strongest board is the name of the game. He needs to preserve HP, and now the face-off will be so important for him. Gobo finds a Master G early, and now can really pop off once again. Has a trade 3 right now. also Marauder, so now he can think about cooking a little more and not doing the normal Nova board with Vex and trying to play a Master Yi on level 8 at least for now.
The Stargazer won't be super relevant, but everything else is, I mean, pretty fantastic. Marauder +1, Nova +1, Brawler +1, Bastion +1 on level 9 can all add value to a Marauder Yi-ish kind of comp. And this board can reach a really high cap if Gobo is able to make it to 9. And I mean, this is one of the more creative players, not just on this team, but in general in EMEA overall. I think he's a player who can definitely navigate this game to a very high cap board.
Increase HP permanently here for Echo, but no, people are going directly for the items. Kale is the possibility they want to pop off right now. They need immediate strength and try to pressure the lobby here on stage. We see the communication here coming in from Dohwa, just making sure everyone knows their spot, everyone knows what exactly they have to do, and to preserve HP right now. Normally we talk about early game to look position, late game, who wins, but this is the moment where the HP is handled by all the players and they need to be exactly in the same line.
Compared to what we saw from T1 yesterday against Weibo, it seems like both of these teams are happier playing for higher cap. They're not so interested in playing for extremely deep roll downs on level 6 on stage 3, outside of Gobo, for example, and it's paying off for him. He's on an 8-win streak now, and he's already level 7 as well. So Gobo is continuing to push very high tempo here.
Dowa, the player with the low HP right now, coming on for Godlike Esports, and only has a Guinso here. Decent frontline, not many upgrades. Finds an Deadly Riven that is not doing too much for now. Just holding on to the time break and having a chance to pop out later.
Echo, Divine Intervention for Dehua. Invested, Birthday Reunion. If he gets gold from Echo once he drops below 30 HP, and if he hits the right augment on 4-2, this could be a very similar game plan to what we saw from Flancy in that Team Vision versus MKOI, where Flancy went 9 on 4-3 and he hit a ton of 5 costs and he won the game outright. That's the game plan Dehua is trying to commit to.
Also, not having a great game in the last time, and now once again having the chance from the teammates to take confidence in him. Yeah, go for it. Go for the full greedy play and the flash possibilities of this. Taking the loss that we know he will have to, and now only 32, so very close to pop off that Divine Intervention from Echo. Next round will be the one for him.
The benefit is that Gobo on 100 HP and a 9 win, and Daysik at 80 HP, they can say, hey, Dehua, you're in my pool. Maybe don't roll yet. I can give you 1 life. I can give you 2 lives. I can buy you enough time to get more invested value, to get more rolls as well, to maybe make it to 9. So we'll see how that strategy pans out in terms of the HP trading for Godlike.
For Tianlong, also a difficult spot right now. He managed to preserve HP, has a misfortune, holding the Master Yi, holding additional possibilities here, but not an ideal spot, if you will. So he will really need to transition, play defense, and try to maybe take unit out of the rest of the players to be relevant for the team.
Can Salpimi do it again? Can he stop the win streak from Gobo? It's an attempt at a 10 win, a stage 2 and 3 perfect from Gobo, or Salpimi, who's on the treasure hunt, who's on a 3-win streak, who's the healthiest player for Weibo, trying to stop Gobo in his tracks. The Akali is onto the backline for Salpimi, but it just won't be enough. The Kindred with a Rage Blade off of the TG, putting in work, and the Sweet Treats HP making the difference.
Out of player also, Salpimi getting exactly what he needed and taking a great win right now to pressure even more the lobby. Dohwa has found his additional possibilities. There it is, Divine Intervention, some gold, and probably items that we're not seeing right now, but will be relevant in the next stage.
Dehua really wanted more gold here, I think. He wanted to go straight to 9. Now he can still do it, but with a little bit less confidence.
19 rolls?
Yes, but you need the gold to actually make it to 9. If you make it to 9 with 100 rolls, if you don't have the gold to buy the units, it won't be enough.
Yep. Great chance here. Salpimi also, level 6. Hasn't found the upgrade, but is stable right now. Now on stage 4, everyone will be so strong, so he will really need to roll deep right now. And he doesn't have additional pair. Only the Maokai close right now with 2-star units, and the possibility for him to really miss right now. So how much do you roll? How much do you wait here, Panda? He decides to up levels.
I think it's similar to what we saw from him last game, especially contested. He has 6 Akalis already. He's going to try and just hold these copies against Gobo and just push for the Kindred duo carry instead. Dehua, level 8, 70 gold. He did get some gold from the PV round there as well, so that definitely helped his game plan. 22 rolls now. He's going to wait until 4-2. He's still 2 lives. He still maybe can get some HP traded away from his teammates. If he faces one of them here, it could be very important. And we're seeing exactly this. Daysik said, Dehua, you're my teammate. I got you. Items removed. That should be enough. The Urgot can potentially put in some work here for Dehua. And that's maybe one more round of greed. One more round of gold generation.
Similar game plan, or almost exactly the same as last game. Dohwa with a cap-up possibility, and now Daisy with the HP lead, transferring that to him and being the chance to pop off. Would it happen the same? Will Weibo have a chance to pop off and transform this to completely on their favor, or will Dohwa be able to pop off? That's the name of the game. So far, 1-0 for Weibo, and really they want to wake up. Godlike wants to win this game and bring us to a game 3.
Augments for Daehwa. He's trying to find maybe some amount of gold. Gilded Steel is an option, but I think you really want more items. You're going to play so many 5 costs anyway. I think Gilded Steel is not the best option. And Daehwa does pull the trigger. He does go 9 right away. Finds a Fiora 2 off the birthday reunion. 23 gold to work through. Maybe wants to go for a Fiora 3, but I think going to opt to buy the rest of the 5 costs instead. Finds the Graves, finds the Blitz. Needs to find the Vexes in particular as well for this Nova Fast 9.
No Vex, finds the pair of Graves that will start to pop off, finds 1 Vex, and this is a great setup. You don't want the Graves 2-star shields, finds the Shen.
Do you sacrifice anything or do you wait? You're still on 2 lives. Depends on your matchmaking pool potentially. Is a Fiora 2 enough to win this round when you don't have tank upgrades? That's the question now for Daehwa here.
No tanks here, not ideal units also for the Fiora, probably going for the TG, there it is. Decent items right now, going up against Juan, who has the emblem for Space Group. Looking Stone right now having the Jin 2-star, if you will. So additional Jin here for Juan that could make a difference.
Fiora's down. This is not a free fight whatsoever. Guan has rolled down to 10 gold on level 8. And this is going to be maybe the first loss of the 2 that Daehwa can give up here. It would be a super important win if he had this extra breathing room. And he is down to 9 HP, which is 1 life on stage 4. That being said, Shen 2 has come through. Fiora can heal. Graves 2 in the shop. This should be enough for now. Daehwa off of the Fiora wins. He's going to be able to heal past 1 life and going to maybe enter stage 5 on 2 lives. That being said, any RNG that does not go in his favor, if he's out here in 8th place, the entire game plan from Godlike crumbles.
We saw it in the last chance. Fiora didn't do anything because we have no tank. So only Nunu 1 with 3 items here should not be enough. And let's see the placement. Is there a way here for Godlike to transfer HP into Dohwa? Goes into a ghost, so this should be strong enough for him. Goes against Raiko. No items directly. So giving additional chance here for him. LBTC, the only one also low, but we see the spread. Only 9 HP for Dohwa, and the rest are still playing the game.
And let's look at the HP heal as well off of this fight win. If it's a big win, which it is against Raiko, he's going to be punished a tiny bit. He had enough HP to trade here, I would say, above 40 when this fight started off. And Daehwa has now climbed up to 11 HP, which could be 2 lives in stage 4, so already feeling a little bit safer.
Got selections here. Artifact after 5 rounds. So greedy if you want to go there. The people with high HP have a chance. Dohwa probably is going to that. Everyone's going to this one. Only Juan wants some possibilities here to pressure.
I think it would be a great pickup for someone like Gobo, for example. You exit stage 3 at 90 HP, essentially. You're not going to be strong in stage 4 because that's when everyone else is spiking, who've been more greedy, who've had, they've saved their econ for the 4-2 spikes. I think Gobo can kind of pair with this low tempo position in the game round, pick up the Echo Artifact, and then have a second spike on stage 5.
Saupimi trying to use Treasure Hunt as much as possible. That's why his rolling still finally finds level 8. So playing tempo here for Treasure Hunt, only finding the front line. So just trying to find the Kindred, trying to find something to really do damage here. He should start losing some HP. But I mean, he's playing what he has to. He couldn't roll. He was being contested with the Akali and decides to meet maybe the highest EV line possibility. Great to see from Saupimi. He plays aggressive. He plays greedy when he has to. And now he's just playing defense.
Daehwa, Vex pair up against Gobo. Gobo, I think, has removed some items. We're seeing a Kali with a Gunblade and nothing else. The Graves with the Striker's Flail and the Marauder emblem. So Gobo is playing for a higher cap as well with the Graves carry coming through. This should be another easy win for Gobo, getting some breathing room from his teammates. So important to scale his HP back up to 2 lives. And once the Vex 2 is found, I mean, it might be lights out. He might be the strongest player in the lobby.
So close right now. LBTC going up against here. One, is it strong enough? Saupimi just looking for the fight and having a chance here to really pop off Panda. It's so difficult spot. The Morgana is closing in and Saupimi keeps losing HP, hasn't found that Kindred, and he should have found it a long time ago to actually keep pressuring into the lobby. So Saupimi just keeps running down.
I will say this game too, we wanted the game 3 to come through in the series, right? We want to see more high-action TFT, and it's looking pretty good for Godlike here. Daehwa coming back up, very, very strong. Raiko hit the Nami too, that's what he needs. Daesik and Gobo still quite healthy. Gobo has a chance for a high cap as well, alongside Daehwa. There are win-out potential players. But against Weibo, I can never count them out. They always somehow have
They find a way.
Another trick up their sleeve.
Is it gameplay? Is it out? It's everything for Weibo. They always find a way out and have a possibility there to win it out. One, roll at level 8, find the Jhin, and this is popping up for him. Yeah. Making a good chance right now. It's not a normal setup that we see accomplished right now. Normally the Riven is the one with the emblem. Is it enough here against Gobo? And this is the inflection point, because Gobo can be stronger, but one wants to pressure right now, and he's doing it.
Gobo is still scaling, and he is still missing key upgrades on all his units, right? It's Graves 1, it's Kindred 1, it's Yi1, so we have not really yet seen Gobo at his absolute highest level.
Pressure spot here. Final boom. Obviously, Echo with the anomaly on the right now for one, having additional possibilities to support. The rest of the team decides to go for the front line, so we see a very big Ornn being beefy and having a chance here to preserve more chance and more time here for the Jhin to do damage.
Tianlong going level 9, 6 free rolls, 70 gold to work with, and quite a lot of time to get this board going to try and contest Daehwa on the Nova Fast 9. Looking for the Vex, looking for the Blitzcrank 2, looking for the Shen 2, the Nunu. He needs at least one copy from Nunu here, or else his front line might be a little bit worrisome without the Vanguard online.
Godlike was trying to block so that Tianlo doesn't go into this line. That's why two players, Tianlo says, no, I have to go into this line, finds the Shen, finds the Blitzcrank to start only needing the damage. Another possibility for him with some HP to pop it off. Finds the Vex 2-star here, so huge, being contested already. This is exactly the defense play that Weibo was looking for.
A lot of items to slam here if he's facing off against one of the players from Godlike, and not that much frontline. That's the biggest concern here. The Vex 2 is fantastic, but she needs time to ramp. We're looking at a Blitz 1, a Nunu 1. It's just the Shen that's upgraded for now. He's up against his teammate Guan, so maybe not going to be so important to immediately slam everything and take his time a little bit more. But stage 5 is going to be so important for Weibo here. They have to finish off their boards.
Morgana holding strong in the front line, and it looks like it's enough here for one. Juan, the one who was just trying to pop off here, just being strong enough, and now being down with good goal to also make some things happen here.
This is a turn for Guan. He has to go 9. He has to find his final board. He's on 1 life, 12 HP for both LBTZ and Guan.
Nami?
And the middle of the pack is all Godlike players. Depending on the matchmaking, potentially we could be seeing Weibo going down in 7th and 8th if they're not able to clutch these two fights. These two boards need to get as strong as possible right now.
Knows that Tianlong already has the Vex, so holding one, really trying to find the Nami, doesn't have one, and that could make the difference here, Panda. Doesn't find the Blitzcrank, his front line is not the best one, so can one win here? Goes against Saopimi. Saopimi is not stacking. Full units for Saopimi right now.
No items removed. It might be Guan being taken down. He is quite strong with the Jhin 2. We'll see what happens there. For LBTZ, he is up against Gobo. Gobo, did he find his upgrades? The Graves is still 1-star. The Kindred is still 1-star. I think LBTZ might be strong enough.
No access to backline there.
Wait, look at Graves.
No. Graves immediately goes against Del Blanc and takes a huge hit against LBTC, stays alive, and still has a possibility. Weibo in the back of the ropes, but still with a chance to pop off once again. Very important for them to avoid the last placement, and especially the 7-8.
Yet again, 1 HP and a dream. A perfect loss for LBTZ. The only loss he could have had to still stay alive, considering he was on 12 HP. And they succeeded, right? Both Guan and LBTZ have stayed alive here. Maybe Daesik will now drop out in 8th. He's also on his last life. What a close matchup here. Look at the HP totals, Kupeson.
Doesn't find the LeBlanc here, yeah. Everyone's so low. Daesik trying to avoid the 8th. His composition doesn't look perfect so far. Doesn't find the LeBlanc that he has great items for her, but it's just not enough. Goes against Gobo, who has, I don't think he has all the units, but I think the removers are just gone right now.
Yeah, LBTZ is going to be up against Tianlong. Tianlong did remove items off of the Vex. Not the strongest variation. I think LBTZ will be staying alive there, facing off against his teammate. The Akali's onto the backline for Daesik already. She has been taken down by the Sona. The LeBlanc is still stacking the Flicker Blades, the Rage Blades, and the JG. Is there enough burst damage? Is the Graves going to carry for Gobo again? It's a very close fight. The Graves does kill off. Sona kills off Daesik. In 7th, though, Guan drops down to 8th by 1 HP.
That could be the difference here. So players almost tied 1 point up against here for Godlike. And this makes the whole difference. Just avoid having 2 players on the back means the game is so tight right now with a chance for both of them to pop off. LBTC on screen, being strong, finds the LeBlanc and popping off. Gobo being the hero right now for Godlike, giving HP to all his players.
The best possible outcome in that last round for Godlike. 3 of their players win. The HPs have now flipped. There are currently 1, 2, 3 in the standings. And Dasik, despite going down, goes out in 7th instead of 8th. This is exactly what Godlike needed to try and mount a comeback, to try and win this game 2 and force a game 3. Pivotal matchup here yet again. Salpimi is on 11 HP. These players could be taking each other out. It is Salpimi versus his own teammates.
Having everything right now, what he needed, finds 1 Vex at least on level 9. Great items here for her. No access to backline. Akali is down here for Salpimi. Our MVP for the last game looks like the gas is just not strong enough. So we will be losing Salpimi, and Tianlong will be the one who will make the pop-off, at least for Weibo, and that's the win-out player.
You have to be nervous if you're Weibo Gaming. Your 2 remaining players are currently on 1 life. 5 HP for Tianlong. 1 HP for LBTZ. Dehua is still on Vex pair. We saw him on Vex pair a whole stage ago. And because we saw Tianlong hitting the Vex 2 and the rest of his teammates holding onto the Vexes, Dehua has not been able to hit his next spike.
We should see if LBTC or Tianlong goes out here in 5th place, it will be over. That's 3 players in the bottom 5. So that could be the end of the game. So Dehua facing LBTC, having a chance here to tie the series 1-0, 1-1.
He couldn't be the hero in game 1. Can Dehua be the hero in the game 2? A pivotal fight here. A win against LBTZ would give Godlike the commanding position in the game 2. The stuns come out onto the Graves. They delay so much of the DPS. The Morgana is still holding on. The Vex is almost down as well. It will not be enough. Dehua is taken down to his last life. The extra HP help from the Fiora, but Gobo is down in 5th. Things have been evened out. 2 players from each team remain in the top 4.
This is perfect for Weibo, exactly what they needed now to have the possibility to pop off Tianlong with a great chance to win the game, and LBTC the same. LBTC is holding strong with the AP line. Dehua is strong but couldn't find the Vex, who was Grief. Finds the Graves just to have a Hail Mary possibility, and Raiko the same. So Weibo, once again, transforming the game in their favor and doing exactly what they must in the 4v4 angle. Taking additional gold here, Dehua trying to roll deep here. Use all his gold to grief additional units and find any additional placement. The choke finally finds, and now this is pop-off placement for the Graves. Decides to pop off and put ideal items. This is the carry right now for Dehua. What else? Nothing else to find here, Panda.
The face-off. The Vex is the big thing that Dehua was looking for. We'll see where the BT is going to go now.
3 players low in HP. This will be the pivotal round.
And both Raiko and Dehua are the heroes for Godlike. They're both in the top 4 yet again, trying to fight for that first place, which is what they really need here.
Friendly fire for both. Dehua against Raiko. Ideally, Raiko can stack 1, but LBTC against Tianlong, someone will be taken out. LeBlanc holding deep. Good access to backline right now, holding the Morgana. Very strong in the front line, and it will be LBTC. Tianlong is being taken out, and LBTC will be the one who will have to take the win here and take it off.
And Raiko alive in that 3rd place position. Doesn't even matter. Dehua now finds the Vex too, but Dehua knows he's done it for his team. We're seeing the smiles, we're seeing the laughs in the webcams.
3 players possibilities here. Dasik 1 against 1. GoBuster winning against Salpimi, and of course Raiko winning against Tianlong. That's it here for the tight series. Godlike Esport taking it again in a well-fashioned here, Panda. Playing defense, playing strong, and for Weibo, once again, finding the out to actually pop off. Very close game, and we'll have a great game 3.
What a finish, what a clutch game plan from Dehua. Everything lined up. The invested on 3-2. The Echo Divine Intervention. He was able to make it to 9. He was able to assemble one of the strongest boards we have seen all tournament long. Despite no Vex 2, all the other 5 costs carried their weight. And Godlike is making this a very close series. 1-1. So much in store for us for the game 3. 2 Titans from Tien and from EMEA clashing on the big stage.
there. For every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind, and we're here. Now, the proud founding partner of EWC, powering the biggest event in gaming, shoulder to shoulder with the world's best, making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion, reach your impossible.
I would be remiss if the series ended in a 2-0. It is undeserving of such a score. It's now 1-1. It comes down to game 3. Who's it going to be? Well, Godlike are looking great. They tie up the series, but they've got to go a little bit further, win the next game. But Weibo Gaming is looking to shut them down. Let's find out how it's going to end up unfold together. But first, to break down that last matchup, boys, let's talk about it because it was absolutely incredible. Let's start at the beginning. Godlike, how did they look, and did they look different this time versus last?
It was completely different to last time. You know, last time they didn't have the streaks, they didn't have the early compositions, and they didn't have the early direction that they were looking for as well. This game, though, they had one player on the 5-win streak, one player on the 5-loss streak, which was Dahua, which is a player that we're going to be talking about throughout this whole segment, I feel like, as well, because Dahua was their win-out player. They had their win-out player, they had their tempo player as well, they had the early gold and the early streaks going to stage 4.
Well, it's even further than that, too, which I think was really interesting. Those streaks ended up going to 9 on both, at least.
That's
which
true,
is,
yeah.
Very, very valuable for them as far as the gold and econ there. But they also had a second win-out player with Gobo with the trait tree. So they had 2 players with win-out equity and 2 players playing tempo. And I think if you can draw it up, that's pretty ideal. It's not always that you have the spots for it, but it felt like a very good, nice little present for Godlike in game 2.
Now, I heard stage 4. Let's go to stage 4, where a big turning point in our match ends up taking place. We take a look at our first action of the game. Again, we're here in stage 4-1. What are we seeing?
Yeah, so the big thing for this is Dahua has just gone for a big cash out. He ends up getting everything that he needs out of the birthday present, right, which is going to get him the Fiora 2. He starts to get the level 9. He's rolling down. He's finding as much as he can. And he needs just one more round to stabilize. And his teammate is able to sacrifice for him. He's able to get that round win. And then he takes a loss later from the enemy, but he's able to regain a bunch of HP over the next few rounds with the Fiora passive. The Grand Duelist is able to give you that healing, and that made all the difference because you see at the end game, Dahua loses one more round. If it wasn't for the healing from Fiora, he would have been out and not been able to hold out to get the win for Godlike.
Yeah, the difference to the birthday reunion, the augment that got picked at the start of this game, knew that he was the win-out player. He then took invested ++, which means he's getting so much gold. He wants to go to level 9 as quick as possible. He wants to go for that 5-cost 2-star, and that 5-cost 2-star, as you mentioned, Cass, was the Fiora, which allowed him to save HP. I think his teammates did an incredible job as well, understanding when they would face Dahua and actually remove items, make their board weaker, and save Dahua as much HP as possible. And that came down to the big difference of why Godlike took this
So
game
at this
home.
point, Dahua seems to be one of the star players there for Godlike that they're putting a lot of emphasis into. We go to our last action, which is the very end, where Godlike starts to tighten the vice grip and chokehold Weibo Gaming. Now, is Dahua still in this final clip, in the final moments? Is he still as instrumental as he was during that stage 4 breakdown?
Yeah, he's still incredibly important because Dahua is the player, the one that's trying to win it all. You know, in here, this was actually Weibo, as you can see on the clip, kind of team killing in the end. And then the other clip as well, it was Dahua who won against Raiko. So at that point as well, with Weibo team killing, they knew that they had the victory.
And we were at the point of the game where Godlike had actually gotten the better out of Weibo on the bottom end of the life totals, right? Weibo taking 8th and 6th versus the 7th and 5th from Godlike. So all the rest of Godlike has to do is not allow Weibo to escape 4th place, right? So all that needs to happen is Dahua wins versus Raiko, and one of these Weibo players will fall, meaning that as long as Dahua can survive the round, Godlike will always win, and it's exactly what happened.
And I feel like this is something that Godlike were missing in game number 1. Like, they didn't have the Akali player, they didn't have the win-out players. This time they went from 0 win-out players to 2 win-out players, with Dahua and also Raiko as well, with that spatula, with the Akali coming online.
Well, it is a tight series, but from what I'm hearing, Stream B is equally as close. Kitty, give me the updates.
Quick update from Stream B as we have Zeta Division versus AGAL in the upper bracket currently being scored 1-1. AGAL was able to bounce back in Game 2 with that Grace 2, however, title in Game 1 was so dominating with 20 wins to 1 loss. So let's see who comes out on top in our upper bracket between Zeta Division and AGAL.
This ain't no regular thing. I came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights, better get right, I'm champion.
Ooh, both Stream A, Stream B, both tied up 1-1, coming down to the third and final game. We've touched a lot, obviously, on Weibo and Godlike, but just real quick, AGAL, Zeta Division, all tied up 1-1. Is that a surprise? Was it expected? What are we thinking?
I don't think it's too much of a surprise. I think we knew it was going to be a close series. As we've mentioned at the start of the show, all the games yesterday kind of went as expected, except for a few series. So it means that these upper bracket games are just absolutely flawless. Like, they're just incredible with the amount of star power individually for AGAL and Zeta Division, with Title as well. As Kitty mentioned, Title going 20-1 in one game in a 4 versus 4 environment. That's impressive.
I mean, I think it's beautiful to see Zeta having a great showing, because in 2024 is a bit of a disappointment, right? Title is in GOAT contention, but comes in 4v4, just can't get it done with the pieces around him, and now he gets to come back with this super team from Japan with Summertimer and Moji, of course, or Mori added to the roster, and it's an incredibly strong team, and the fact that they're taking it to the CN region, which has historically been the strongest region in 4v4, it's incredible.
Yeah, we know that the CN region is going to be the one to beat. You know, Godlike are trying to do it here as well, of course, with the title defenders, Weibo. Zeta Division are trying to do it on the Stream B as well. So it feels like at the moment it's kind of CN against the world.
It seems to be the case. Clearly one of the best regions out there. Obviously, I love that you mentioned Title, because he was a big talking point yesterday when they were here on Stream A, and he's going to continue to be so. And even a little bit deeper for AGAL, specifically when it comes to the club championship race, the standings are very close. And for AG, winning this series, just going to the playoff bracket, I believe secures them at least 200 club championship points, which, hey, 200 they'll take that. Obviously, they're shooting for the 1,000, which means you've got to win the entire event. But we'll start small. But for AGAL, they're looking great as an organization so far. Going back to Weibo Gaming and Godlike Esports, again, just an update, tied up 1-1. It comes to the game number 3, and it is going to be a tense one for sure. Godlike bringing in some different strategies, playing a little bit better this time around against that of Weibo Gaming. So as we go into game 3, who's got ice in their veins? Weibo was just in this same situation, right, yesterday against T1, and they closed out the series. Godlike have got to take a page from their playbook.
I think, you know, I'm going to be a little crazy here, because I think, you know,
crazy.
Weibo, I would expect to win this 9 times out of 10, right? This is Weibo Gaming, the title defenders. But I think Godlike should have already 2-0'd this series. I think game 1 was theirs to lose. I think they tossed it away. And I think Godlike is looking so strong in both of these games. I think Godlike's going to take it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be incredibly close either way. I think Salpimi, if Salpimi can get the treasure hunt again, he's already got it 3 games in a row now. The same augment, the same direction, the same composition. If he takes that home again, if he's not contested, then Weibo can still take it.
All right, well, it's about time to head to our stage in just a moment.
Game 3 time, baby. It's 2 titanic forces meeting for a final game in this series. Huge wins yesterday from both teams. Weibo up against T1, Godlike against Fnatic. For Godlike in particular, yesterday, Daysik and Gobo were the 2 best performing players on the team. In the 2 games today, it's been the opposite. It's been Dehua and Raiko carrying the load forward to force the Game 3.
For Godlike Esports, I mean, the spirits are on their favor. They win the last match in a fashion way. They have their tranquility on. For Weibo, I mean, they always find a way to win out. Even in bad matches, in matches that feel tight or contested, they find the win. Salpimi, the player we have to watch, and obviously the one popping off. Tianlong, also the veteran who went to Tactician Crown and has the chance right now to pop off once again in 4v4, having a chance. And the hero no one was expected. Dohua, right now on screen, Daisy was the one popping up before, and this is a player that normally doesn't play Fast 9, and he got the spot, he got the recognition and the confidence from his teammates, and he's the one popping off.
More of a scavenger player, more of a top 4 player, similar to Soju, for example, playing for placements, playing around level 8 comps instead. But hey, in the spot he had last game, you had to commit to Fast 9, and he did so in a spectacular fashion. It will be silver scrapes for the encounter, so an explosive final 1v1, 70 gold injection for both players at the very end of the game when only 2 remain. Yasuo and Evelyn are going to be our gods. Yasuo, of course, incredibly strong for powering up specific tanks in reroll. I'm thinking about Cho'Gath. I'm thinking about Ornn, Jax as well with the Kali, and with Lulu. And talking about Lulu, it's the Mountain for the Stargazer for the Constellation this game 3. So both Xayah and Lulu are on the table, but you have to have the Stargazer early on in stage 2 to start printing those emblems.
Yeah, you have to have the chance as soon as possible, as you mentioned. Obviously, maybe Lulu in orb, something that helps you immediately go into that line. If not, probably we will not see it, but that's one of the preferred line for sure. You cannot force it, as you mentioned. And Dohwa, with a good start here with Primordial, maybe the best, if you will, giving so many options to play reroll, to maybe go Fast 9 and have additional possibilities. Finds also a Misfortune, sells it immediately, and just trying to go into more of a tempo line.
A lot of gold here for our competitors. Gold augments as well for the 2-1 pickup. We'll see if Treasure Hunt will be the pickup for Salpimi again, as Stuart was mentioning on the desk. Bodyguard training, a possible late game option for Daehwa. We'll see if he wants to take it and be that win-out potential player once again for Godlike.
Yeah, Bodyguard also a great option here, asking permission, because he's a very great augment if you manage to have the time here. He's playing Primordial, so more of a reroll line maybe for him. So just making sure he has the cap-out possibilities and a good chance here to find something interesting. Tianlong already committing to the lose streak, just thinking about the later stage of the game. Once again, the player who played Fast 9, Tianlong already thinking about winning the game.
LBTZ as well with birthday reunion. So LBTZ and Tianlong are going to be the potential win-out players for Weibo Gaming. It's great to have 2 options.
Yeah.
And then we saw a few more tempo-oriented options for the rest of the players on Weibo. So, as always, you want the balance. And as you're mentioning, the talking between the teams on 2-1 is so important. You have certain augments offered. You're not just picking the best optimal augment. You have to balance your game plans, the win-out players, the tempo players, and see who has the better spots for each of those roles.
Yeah, the asking permission, if you will. But yeah, it's so important that the team confidence you. Do you have a really good spot? Do you like it? And normally that's the conversation. It's not, can I use it? Normally they turn it around. They say, okay, Dohwa, do you feel confident? Do you like it? And he's like, yeah, I can go for it. Okay, let's go, man. And that's exactly what you want to see in 4v4. You don't want to maybe take the best overall decision. You want to have confidence in the other teammate, and maybe the teamwork can be even better. That power of friendship that we mentioned so far.
And the more you delay your augment pick, you can also counter the picks from the opposing team, counter their kind of game plan, tempo for the rest of the game as well. And we saw Warpath there for GoBooster. Let me tell you, this is the Godlike special in EMEA qualifiers. They played so much Warpath. In 4v4, you have so much more control over being able to get these huge tempo streaks. And if Go was able to cash it out, if he's able to take over the stage 2 and 3 with that Jinx 2, they're set up for a very good outcome coming into stage 4.
Anima together with Primordial here for 1, maybe not exactly what we was looking for. So difficult to get the cap out from Anima. So normally an emblem augment that is very, very good. Maybe on the low roll side here for 1, trying to make it useful for now. Only Primordial making it work. Maybe trying to put Anima later, cash out a little, and maybe try to go for a more tempo play, but not ideal for sure.
Deja Vu, Guan actually had branching out into the Anima emblem yesterday as well when they faced off against T1 in the very first series of the tournament. So another small low roll for Guan. Unfortunately, we'll see if he has a Reforger to bounce back. Salpimi in this case will be playing around the Frontline Foundation, will be playing around the Brawler emblem. Can, of course, play into the overall Nova line, either with a Kali or Yi or Kindred, or for the 5 cost later on in the game. We'll see what he commits to, but I think Salpimi, he's sent a message across every single game he's played in this tournament up until now. He is very comfortable on the overall Nova game plan.
Yeah, having so many carries and also the possibility here, Tianlong playing defense immediately. Of course, he has the augment for this, and we were mentioning, he's stacking completely the early stages of the game, making sure no one stakes out of line. he will maintain the lose streak and just trying to pressure later into the game. Gobo is the one who wants to win. He wants to stack the warpaths as soon as possible, but going up against one who has a very interesting board right now.
And Guan has leveled to 5 precisely because he had Gobo in his pool and trying to stop the win streak, trying to stop the warpath game plan. He has succeeded despite going below 10 gold, despite not playing for Econ. A very smart move from Guan.
Doing exactly what the most. And yeah, that's exactly what we want to see about Weibo. Our reigning winners from last year, they have the title and they want to keep it. And of course, we have to set it up here, Panda. This is upper bracket. Whoever wins goes directly to playoff, and they want to have that possibility immediately and then study. Have the possibility to check the rest of the game, being in peaceful mode. And of course, if you win 2 games in a row, 2 cities in a row, you have to be considered the favorite.
Super important option here from the Evelyn, always benefiting the players who are trying to steamroll the lobby or trying to win streakers, trying to really push the tempo in this stage 2.
Okay, a few also getting the Yasuo, having a good possibilities here. So we have an additional Hex that will be considered, just trying to pop off additional strength. And of course, Tianlo, not in a hurry, just trying to wait and then decide if we want to put it maybe in the center that is default, or maybe try to cap it out in an additional possibilities here. Tianlo maintaining composure, and of course the win-out player that we'll be expecting to pop off for Weibo.
It will be the acceleration hex from Yasuo, so it will be just a chance for a lot of extra attack speed on your backline carries. I'm thinking about LeBlanc and Kindred and maybe Xayah, if anyone has a Stargazer online. For Tianlong, of course, wants to commit to the full lose streak, not just in stage 2, but maybe also in stage 3 with the Calcloss. The game plan is 10 loss, a lot of gold, stage 4 starts, you stabilize on a very strong board, hopefully with 2-star forecasts.
And for one, this should be an important win if he managed to assemble it. Very close fight here, but the stacking of the Kraken is good enough. And Juan, I mean, he's happy. You get the emblems. It's not emblem that you can cap up with because you need immediate strength. And the fact that he managed to get the win streak so far, 4 wins, is so important for him. He really wants to take some value out of the Omen, and he's doing it so far. Raiko, there's the Hex that you were mentioning here. So just maintaining Primordial for now. Should be strong enough, and of course Raiko wants to shake it out. He was the player that could have closed it on the previous game. Tianlong getting some units in, and could probably set it out if it really needs to grief someone here. Daisy playing around already the Krakens and thinking maybe later into the game to play a Xayah.
Xayah, it's a rare comp to play. You need to have the right constellation. You need to have a lot of bows. You need to have the right setup for it. But if you can find that setup, it is a very strong comp on level 8 that can also cap quite high once you get the Blitz 2 and the Jin 2 online on level 9. So Daisy, very happy to find the Stargazers early to be able to start playing towards those emblem prints on the mountain, which also scales you into the late game.
Yep. And if someone can play a difficult line as Xayah has to be Daisy, we're checking a little of the replay from yesterday when they 2-0 Fnatic, and he plays spot that normally people don't play it that way. Very, very different, very confident in his playstyle, and of course looking for the angle at whatever the game can give you. 3-star Leona here for LBTC, already having this front line is so huge. Trying to find AP here. A Winsu will be so important, trying to pressure and maybe go into the blind line that we know is the default, and you can pressure the lobby so much and maintain the tempo of the gameplay if you will, and maybe be in a more comfortable spot to be the conservative one, and then try to get additional placement while pressuring the opponent.
And this Leona will help LBTZ so much in terms of trying to make it to Birthday Reunion, cash out on level 9, while not being 1 life. It's not going to be as risky of a game plan as we saw from Dehua last game. Instead, he will be trying to win some rounds in stage 3 off of this Leona 3. His Arbiter was for interest you would gain. You have a chance to print Leona, so we saw him immediately try and get as much interest as possible in stage 2. And he's been rewarded, right? A very strong tank.
One still maintaining the win streak also. It's a good option here. Tianlong doing the sandwich. Tianlong with the full lose streak, one with the win streak, and you have control because then you can funnel HP, you can control the later stages of the game. So for now, the game plan itself is in favor of Weibo.
It is Gobo versus LBTZ after the Leona 3, but with no item slam just yet. I think LBTZ knows he needs to slam items because he does not want Gobo to get free stacks on the warpath. He does not want Gobo to cash this out without a lot of help from his team in stage 4 potentially. Gobo needs to win this round, so important, and Gobo needs to also find a strong tempo augment on 3-2.
Very close to taking down the Leona, takes out the Leona, and now it's a great win out to get the takedown. That is so important that you mentioned. closer to the warpath here for Bobo. If he managed to assemble it, it will be a great win. If he doesn't, it could be a sure 8 for him.
We're looking at Gobo's augments now. Can he find any kind of tempo, any kind of item or combat power that allows him to guarantee the win streak for the rest of the stage 3?
Nothing of immediate power here. Doesn't have a strong tank to go for partial ascension.
Ooh, goes for the size matters right away, trying to build that final tank item onto the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, not totally happy with the decision, but he had to, making whatever possibilities here. Twins here to have double tanks for 1. Also maintaining tempo. This is exactly what he needs. His 6 win streak and just trying to hold it. Pressure the lobby. Keep pressuring Gobobster if they manage to get the face-off. And of course, trying to be the player that then funnels HP. Also slamming here the Krakens, holding the Nova angle and trying to pressure as much as possible. Having the Yasuo and maybe thinking about more Yasuos later for Space Gods.
Raiko has picked up the second wind. For the first time, Raiko is not playing into the Space Group line. He's playing into AD instead. We see that with the last Whisper Slam. Guan's the player who is holding down the fort in terms of win streak and gold generation for Weibo Gaming. We'll see if he can play for a 10 win streak here as well. The 3-item Bel'Veth putting in a lot of work. And the Milio, I mean, a really strong carry when upgraded in stage 3 as well.
We see the celebration there for one. Happy with continuing the win streak right here. Tianlong taking a hit. Makeshift, I mean, great ammo, and also if he has also now items for the backline, he's in a great spot. And LBTC just holding strong. The Leona is making work for him, preserving HP for now. 3 lose streak, but he's killing units right now. He has the time to do it, and of course he's thinking about the latest stage of the game with the very reunion, trying to fight that level 9, but he needs to preserve HP. 60 right now, and the pressure will just keep getting hotter.
Ooh, really smart play from LBTZ here. On a roll, knowing he's going to be hitting Leona upgrades all the time. He can generate free rolls that way without having to continue rolling down or necessarily playing a reroll in the first place. Really heads up play from LBTZ to maybe get some free rolls to stabilize his board before he goes 9 and tries to be that win-out player for Weibo Gaming.
Dohua on the front side there on the top, the hero player here for Godlike, had played 2 fast 9 games. One didn't work and the next one gave the tide here for the series. Takes the win, so LBTC will keep getting the loss, and the plans for the fast 9 are now getting more tight.
Storm Hex from Yasuo. Jin, of course, one of the best holders for this. Someone like Daysec, who's playing into Xayah, gonna be very happy to see this offered from the Yasuo here.
They are having a great chance here. We see the players. No communication, so default line for both of them. The plan is already assembled. Normally, this is the moment where they talk. They have a breather here. No one has to position. We just check what everyone's doing. I mean, show stress, just relieving something here. Communication once again for Raiko, the player that had the chance to close the game on game 1, couldn't perform, and now trying to pop off once again. Players are lucky in Panda, just looking for the win. The contenders, if you will, 2-0 against Fnatic versus the reigning title holders for Weibo that always find a way to cap up the board and always find a way to take the win. Whoever wins goes to playoff. So an important match right now, and of course, the possibility of them to get into a great pot.
Gobo did lose his last fight. We'll have to check his Warpath stacks in terms of going into stage 4. Looking at Daysec, though, the early Xayah has helped him pull off this 4-win streak. This is a player who shouldn't really be strong right now, but he's able to still get 4 wins in stage 3. That is very good news for his chances to stabilize easily on level 8 and maybe play for the high cap version of Stargazer on level 9.
And he looks rested. I mean, a player that had so many difficulties to arriving early yesterday, having a chance. And as you mentioned, just the win streak right here, unexpected for him. This could be the wild card that Godlike was needing. Of course, they still need to face the challenging Tianlong that is low in HP but will pop off soon, and that will be the boogeyman. If Godlike is able to take down Tianlong quickly, that could be the difference. If Tianlong pop off, that would be the game plan winning, and of course the possible win for Weibo.
Guan pretty rich here, to be honest, off of the Primordium from the very beginning of the game. 9 win streak, of course, helping as well. So much gold generation. He's a player who, on a 10 win streak now, is going to be the guy that can trade off HP to the rest of his team in stage 4. He says, hey, you're a little bit weak. You need some more time to get your board together. I can give you some of my HP if I'm coming in at 100 HP. And it will be tasigc versus Guan, a very important fight here if tasigc is able to win it. With the dummy buying more time, with a perfect Xayah build for now, the red buff into the Kraken. Is it going to be enough to take down Guan, making such good use of the acceleration hex on the Bel'Veth? But, I mean, the board is looking quite strong for tasigc, not able to hit the 10 win here for Guan.
Yeah, important low roll also for Guan, not finding the Bel'Veth to start so late into the game. Should be immediate, but no, it's a win here for Godlike.
And Gobo's also trying to get a win of his own, but it's just the Victor left alive, not able to do it. He's pivoted off of the Jinx into a different board, and it has not paid off. In 10 rounds, Gobo has won 7 of them. It's okay with the Warpath stacks. It's okay in terms of your team can still sack you free wins in stage 4. But of course, you would have preferred, ideally, a 10 win coming to stage 4.
For Tianlong, he had a chance to go to fast 9 if everything worked out for him. It didn't. So now it will be a fast 8 composition if you will. So probably trying to go for the LeBlanc. He will really need to find the rod here. Already have the Shepherd, has everything online. So maybe trying to high roll a legendary unit for him. And of course, trying to pop up. 8 rolls still available right now. And this could be do or die for Weibo. Whatever happens to Tianlong would influence the rest of the game.
Gobo has dealt 53 player damage with the Warpath. He needs to deal 80 to cash it out. And I'm pretty sure everyone or most of the players on Weibo will be rolling down heavily on 4-1 to not allow Gobo to get any free wins. If they're able to stop the Warpath cash out, that might be a game-deciding moment for Weibo Gaming up against Godlike.
Finds 2 LeBlancs, 1 Sona. Finds the Nunu to start so important. Now having the 5 Shepherd together with a big tank in the front is huge here for Tianlong. Trying to find everything. Has the Windsuits already prepared and decides to wait until the final round just to see the placement goes up against tasigc. And this is a pivotal round also.
tasigc has hit the Xayah 2, has slammed the IE in the end, can't find the second Kraken, which would be ideal. Is the Stargazer board strong enough right now? It's still going to scale further, of course, with a mountain printing more emblems. And looks like Tianlong has done his job. He's able to win the 4-1 fight. He should win all the rounds in stage 4, ideally. That's his game plan. Lose 10 and then win the rest.
Yeah, great news for Weibo right now. Tianlong in a great position. We saw tasigc there holding the LeBlancs, but he already has 2. So playing defense for him while not being strongest is a win out here possibility for Tianlong. We see tasigc here trying to find the Xayah, doesn't even have the Pair Panda.
Yeah. tasigc and Raiko both feeling the pressure, especially Raiko, who's now down to 20-ish HP. He's playing for Corki. He's playing for placements. He knows he has win-out players on his team in Gobo and potentially in tasigc as well. All Raiko has to do now is turn this loss streak around the same way Tianlong did on 4-1. Raiko is now tasked with winning 4-2, winning 4-3, winning 4-5, winning 4-6. He has to try and win the rest of the fights in stage 4. If he loses stage 5, that's fine. He's done his job.
Yeah, this is the long moment, if you will. Only find the pair of Corki here. 1 Rammus has the additional defense together with the dummy, but Raiko needed a little more here. A lot of gold for him, holding units also as a chance, and goes against Tianlong. Once again, the boogeyman from Weibo, looking deep, looking strong, and doing exactly what he must, pressure and punish Godlike right now. We see the expression right now on Raiko. He knows it's not a game plan.
Raiko did not pick up any econ augments, and we're seeing him potentially punished for it, missing a lot of the key upgrades he needs. Tianlong has done his job perfectly, wins these first 2 fights of stage 4, punishes both players from Godlike, tasigc, and Raiko, and now they're starting to feel the pressure, especially Raiko. At 14 HP, you should still be 2 lives on stage 4, unless you have a terrible blowout loss. But Raiko has to find the upgrades on his board right now.
Also, 1 can now play comfortably because the plan was for 1 maybe to preserve HP, to transfer to Tianlong, and now it's not necessary. So it's also a comfort spot right here because they can play their game. We see Min holding 2 Corkis with a chance, but either way, Raiko makes the switch here, finds also the Fizz, and now just lacking the Rammus 2-star.
And that's a lot of lack, right? You're missing the key frontline units. You do have the extra dummies. You do have the second wind. I like this from Raiko. He's trying to now not solo frontline the Rammus because he wants second wind to proc. He wants to ideally hit all of his units and the dummies potentially and try and get as much effective HP off of his second augment as possible. The Corki has come through. The damage should be there for Raiko. Acceleration hex not so important. He's also just facing a teammate for now, so There hasn't been any sack from Dasic though. Zaya still has full items. This will be a big test for Raiko.
He put it in. I think he knows he's weak enough here that he needs to preserve HP some way.
Yeah.
So he put the items in the last moment, knowing that Raiko is pretty strong right now, hitting the Corki. And now the pair of Zaya, pair of Morgana, and Daisy needs to hit through 0 right now for him. Panda, will he hit? And he needs the lock of the gods in his side. Let's see if something interesting pop-ups here.
It was a win for Gobo as well this last round. That's really the one player that everyone from Godlike is hoping to do well, is hoping to get that Warpath cash out, because they're banking on Gobo becoming the hero in this game 3. The creative genius from France needs to step it up for his team here, needs to cash out the Warpath.
Yeah, and Tianlong in a perfect position here, gets the Evelyn because he knows he doesn't need anything else. So gets the additional gold, maybe the only one, and now he can think about level 9. Once again, the pop-up player in Tianlong doing everything perfect, and Weibo with a great opportunity to take the game right now.
Gobo is on 77 player damage dealt on the Warpath. 1 win away from cashing it out. We'll have to see who his matchmaking pool looks like. He also can't really ask his teammates for the free win because, you know, Dehua and Raiko are both quite low.
Yep.
It's only Daisy that has a little bit more HP to work with. Gobo is playing into the mech A-Soul board. We haven't seen so much this tournament because Anima is the easiest path to get here. Who is Gobo going to face? One of the most important rounds of the entire tournament here, or at least this series, for Godlike. He's facing his teammates. Dasic has not removed items. Is Gobo strong enough right now?
Yeah, Gobo has everything upgrade, at least not lacking the Aurelion Soul. No damage for Dasic, having full items, but not enough with the Saya. So it should be a close fight here, Panda. Very important for them to preserve AP, having a good chance. Both of them still healthy. So
Pralin is
it's a great chance.
down. Can the A-Soul carry it by himself? The dummy's still alive, tanking HP. Gobo is not able to win this fight, and this is very bad news. Not the worst news possible, but it's delaying the cash out from Gobo.
Yeah, he really needed that possibilities here. So close to cash out the Warpath right now, and he needs the kill. He needs the damage. He needs A-Soul 2-star, has the pair, and just trying to find the pop-ups. We see the concern in his mind. Touching his lips, thinking about it, and know that, I mean, his fate is in the hands of the Space Out right now. Raiko also with a dire expression right here, hasn't found the Ramus, so just playing defense, holding the Namis.
Everyone's paired. Raiko is paired on Ramus. Gobo is paired on A-Soul. Dasic is paired on Zaya. All 3 players from Godlike are very close to hitting their spikes. Meanwhile, Tianlong has been doing his job. The 5-win streak we predicted we needed from Tianlong, he has done what he needed to do for his team. He has stabilized. He's become the Grim Reaper of this stage 4. Can he finish this off against Gobo with another win in stage 4?
Good area damage here for GoBuster. He shouldn't be able to win the round, but he's accessing the backline. He's killing some units, but still far away from the Warpath here. It's 54 HP Panda. Should be enough, but he will be very close to the cash out.
LeBlanc almost went down there. The Gunblade put in a lot of work here. Gobo, another loss now. 43 HP for him. Dasic, despite winning against Gobo, does lose this next round as well.
Doho is also down here, 7 HP only. Raiko also with a bad possibility, finds the Meeple but doesn't find the Ramus still. We see him, yeah. Very close here, holding also the Namis as a possibility. That's the option here.
5 Namis for Dehua, 2 Namis for Raiko, Nami 1 for Salpimi. So we are seeing grief fight tactics from both teams trying to deny all of the forecasts. It's a very forecast-centric game plan for both sides, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing so many players revolving around, hey, I hit my 2-star forecast, I'm stable. I don't, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, for Dohua, I mean, he needs to avoid probably only Tianlong, that is the strongest right now. BTC also with a 5-win streak right now, being so huge. Nothing else to be accomplished here. Trying to find the Nunu, not even the pair. So Dohua just playing defense.
The moment that Raiko and Dehua go down, if they go down, they are on 1 life. We are in stage 5. All these Namis are back in the pool for Salpimi if he wins this next round, and then he can bounce back in the HP totals as well. So really important round for everyone here. Gobo trying to cash out the Warpath. Dehua versus Tianlong, one of the strongest players in the lobby right now on a 6-win streak. From 4-1 onward, he's taken over. It is a Nami 2 for Dehua, but he's missing the Blitzcrank altogether. The key duo carry for the Space Group line.
The Hail Mary for him is for the Nami to access the backline, but he's just too strong here for Tianlong. He's talking, he knows he's winning. giving high hopes
LeBlanc
here
is
for
down,
the team.
but the Nami has so little health. The tanks are coming for her. Sona's still alive as well. Daehwa taken out in 8th. Does Raiko stay alive? He does. And he takes out Salpimi as well. So both Nami players have now gone down in 7th and 8th, but Daehwa took the 8th place.
Yeah, first point goes here for Weibo, and it's important. The best way you can see it with the points is you need to win against 3 players. So right now, +1 for Weibo, going up against Daehwa, and in the leader spot. And we already know that Tianlong is so strong and pressuring the lobby. Raiko, 5 win streak, 14 HP here, Panda, and he should be able to be the one who pop off. Gobo now closer to the cap-up.
I mentioned the win against Dasik being so important, and we're seeing why. Gobo has now lost 3 fights. He still has not cashed out Warpath. He should be the player winning all these fights in Stage 5, post-cash out. We're looking at the board now from LBTZ. He has gone 9. He is playing around the 5 cost, but it's Gobo that has to cash out, has to become the win-out player for Godlike. If he's not able to do so, the entire game plan crumbles.
Daisy's stacking. Daisy's doing it for him. Right now, taking the units out for the items out of Saya, just making sure that Gobo has the cap-out possibility.
And it will be a close win, but a win nonetheless for Gobo. Dasik gave him that lifeline. And now we'll see the cash out from Gobo off of the Warpath, and we'll see what Gobo can do in terms of trying to win this game.
Immediate Morgana has the Fiora that doesn't have a space here, so the Anvils will be the name of the game here, Panda.
And we don't really have the gold to fit the Fiora as well because Gobo has been stuck on 8 for so long, rolling for the Asol 2, trying to find that last win he needed. He does have the chance to get some extra items, as you mentioned, some extra power on the board. Is this going to be enough to become a win-out spot here?
I like the setup. I mean, he has 2 full tanks right now. He has the scaling with the Arcadian, so the composition makes sense. Is it enough with maybe focus damage? No, but he should be able to win out from now on. Raiko, on the other hand, very low in HP, going up against Gobo that couldn't stack. So Gobo in his strongest spot right now, going up against Raiko, and possibly the fallout possibility here for him.
The Asol's almost taken down by the Fizz. The Asol does stay alive for a little bit longer, but the Corki is still dishing out damage. The Rammus is holding on for a long time. The Morgana is still very healthy. The double Warlock setup is very, very strong. And the Asol staying alive has swung this matchup in Gobo's favor, but he's eliminating a teammate. Raiko down in 6th place, and Dasik on 4 HP on his last life. Weibo looking so strong now in Stage 5.
That's 2 points already in favor of Weibo. If they manage to win one more face-off, is a win directly for Weibo, advancing directly to playoff. So Dasik needs to really avoid the 5th place right now. If he doesn't, it will be a pop-off, and the damage possibilities here for Godlike. Dasik finds, finally, the Saya 2-star, but is it enough right now, Panda?
It took so long, and for Weibo, they've done such a good job of executing their roles perfectly. Tianlong, huge win streak, now takes a loss, now is going to fall off a tiny bit considering he was playing around that level 8 board. But it will be Dasik fighting for his life. If Dasik goes down, that is it. It's a blowout win from Weibo. It's a game 3 win, but it's a win nonetheless. Dasik has to stay alive here. He's still level 8. He was forced to donkey roll for Xayah for so long. The Nunu stun is absolutely massive. Every single unit on Dasik's board is blown up into the air. The Xayah is still scaling. The double Kraken build now, the strongest possible build for the Xayah, but so much time is being bought by the Nunu snowballs coming through. The dummy's the last life alive, trying to defend the Xayah. She's not able to scale enough. Dasik is taken down. It's a blowout win for Weibo Gaming, the title defenders sending a message to everyone else.
And doing it in a great spot right now. Salpimi being the hero of the placement there in the first game that was so close, and now they're happy. They're showing why they are the title defender, Panda, coming in strong. Not only power of friendship, the veterancy of these gamers, already having so much experience in Tianlong, being strong, going to Tactician Crown, and once again, confidence to the rest of the teammates and having the chance. For Gobo, I mean, he played incredible, giving HP in any moment that he could transfer in the lobby, and of course, I mean, a great series we had so far.
And Weibo Gaming knows it. It was a tough opponent. The respect being given here, the fist bumps all around between these two teams. Godlike, of course, is not out whatsoever. They have a chance to still come back from the losers bracket. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of Godlike throughout this tournament, considering how well they played in this matchup against Weibo Gaming.
This is exactly what the final match was. Tianlong was just too strong, having additional front line, the cap up from the LeBlanc, and the Saya that you mentioned. CC coming on from the Lunu, and then the ramp out was just not enough. Tianlong was just too strong. making the cup a possibility, and in the end, making the win for Weibo, advancing to playoff.
We're going to hear from Weibo Gaming. We're going to hear from Rob on the stage.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we are live here with Guan from Weibo Gaming. Of course, these are the title defenders from last year. First and foremost, last year when you came here, you were not favored on paper as a team. There's other teams that have TAC crown champions and things of this nature. Why is it that you guys are able to get better results than other teams that are favored on paper?
关少，第一个问题，因为去年你们现在是卫冕冠军嘛，但我们再回闪一下，就是去年当时你们的发挥，因为当时你们进入电竞世界杯的时候，可能当时不是公认为就是最强的战队，可能也有其他战队在就是往年的这个成绩都比你们好，但是你们去年当时夺冠了，你们当时是相当于是怎么做到的？尤其是在这种不算是热门夺冠的战队的情况下呢？
可能不被别人看好，就会激发出我们最大的潜力。
I'll say that being underestimated might have been part of the reason for our victory back then, because even though we weren't like the most favorite team, like the tournament favorites, I think that also contributed partly to other people not researching us as much and us being underestimated.
Well, this year, they aren't underestimating you whatsoever because you won this title last year. So how are things different? Now that everyone is looking for you, you still qualified for the playoffs. Is it different preparing now that everyone has a target on your back?
今年就不一样了，毕竟作为卫冕冠军，今年应该说是所有的战队都有个目标在你的背上，每支战队都在研究你们，都在针对你们。那今年你们的准备会是有什么样不同呢？因为现在你们也是成功晋级到了后面的淘汰赛。
我觉得我们打好自己，我们依然是世界上最强的4-4团队，所以可能不太需要做出什么准备，就是打好自己。
Well, we're really confident in ourselves. We just have to play to the best of our abilities, and I'm sure that we'll be able to beat whatever challenges that comes our way.
Confident, and that is with good reason, ladies and gentlemen. Congrats again to Guan and to all of Weibo Gaming as they try to hoist yet another title right here at EWC.
It wasn't easy, but it never is, especially if you want to make it to the playoff bracket, which Weibo Gaming officially have done. Well done, and it honestly could have gone either which way. Godlike put up a tremendous fight, and they're going to continue to do so as they drop down to the lower bracket. They're not done just yet, but they are knocking on the door of elimination. Their next matchup is going to matter. They need to protect their key. Hey, welcome in to the Allianz Vault. I'm Taylor Reflections, Noble Casanova, Stewart. What a game that was. What a series in general as a whole. It went so back and forth, but in the end, it's Weibo, the title defenders, who get the win.
Yeah, Weibo in the end showing out absolutely huge in this series. Both T1 and this series, though, was very, very close, so I feel like there are opportunities for other teams to come out on top, but Weibo in the end being absolutely huge.
We got some stats to look at, boys.
Yes, sir.
Let's take a look at the stats from that game number 3 and start to tell the story. And obviously looking at it, seeing a lot of 17s up there, 16 wins. Overall, it's pretty close, but of course, I'm newer here. Help me out.
Yeah, so this is from game 2. It looks like Dewa getting that win overall. And so we're seeing, you know, a lot of the big round wins coming out. But of course, Dewa was on the massive loss streak. So you're going to see that 16 wins to 12 losses. That's because he played from a win out perspective. He played from loss streak. He lost a ton of the early rounds, and then he wins out towards the end. But meanwhile, of course, like the LBTZ, who was almost able to get there, he got to play the same kind of style, but from a win streak. It's very cool to see that different perspective between these two different ways of getting to Fast 9.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing as well, is that Dahua in that game was their win-out player, and when we go into game number 3, Dahua wasn't the win-out player. He tried to in game number 1 and game number 2, but in game number 3, that completely changed.
Well, let's start walking through game number 3. Like you said, it completely changes. We have a clip from earlier in the game, starting in stage 2, which I find very interesting because normally you guys want to go a little bit deeper into the stages. Why did we choose a clip from so early on?
Yeah, so the big thing here is that Gobo takes an augment called Warpath, which you want to win rounds and you want to win very, very quickly. But Guan on the other side for Weibo actually levels very aggressively. He has 0 gold left in his bank, and that's because he wants to try and stop the win from Gobo. So Gobo actually loses this round, which is really, really huge later on, because when we get into the later stages of the game, Gobo actually takes way too long to get his Warpath online.
Yeah, and for those who don't really know what Warpath does, is basically when you win rounds and deal damage, it gets you towards a cash out, and with that cash out, you can become a win out player from a heavy win streak angle, which is so valuable in 4v4 because you're saving health for your team while also positioning yourself to win the game. You can then sacrifice rounds for teammates later on while still being the player that can hold your own, and it's so impactful to stop and delay that from the other side, and that is exactly what Guan does. And as Stuart was saying, it took forever for Gobo to cash out, so he can't dispense punishment onto the other team.
So that's early in the game, but walk me through the later stages, because at some point Weibo clearly took control to get the win.
Yeah, it was all about Salpimi as well. I think there were some other players that could definitely have performed well for Godlike, but Salpimi in the end denying the Corkies, denying the Rammus. We saw 2 Corkies, 2 Rammuses on the bench as well. And as we mentioned, I think that Warpath, Gobo not being able to cash out is really, really huge. They didn't really have that other player that had the loss streak that could try and win out the entire lobby. And we've realized that in these games, and as we've been playing, as we've been watching this tournament more and more, you need to have that win out player. But Godlike put all the eggs into one basket onto Gobo, and he didn't get his cash out in time.
Casanova, we take a look at the ending of game number 3, and this is when Weibo starts to take the win definitively, but Godlike is still putting up a tremendous fight. Towards the end, why was Weibo such a favorite to win out the series, win game 3, and close it out?
Yeah, so the big thing is looking at Day6's board now, he does have that Xayah too, but it took forever to get there. This had just been hit. Day6 had a lot of help to work with, and he actually does have a spot that potentially could have been a win out if he hits on time. He has 2 Stargazer emblems. He can look to cap this Xayah board extremely high with the best in slot Xayah items, but he was stuck on Xayah 1, essentially what we call donkey rolling for that last Xayah, which means he's at 0 gold, just continuing to roll down every single round, trying to find that last copy of Xayah. If he's able to hit that on his early roll down, he gets to push to level 9, he gets to actually continue to cap the board, and he potentially could win the game, but he low rolls on his Xayahs, whether that is because Weibo was holding it or he's just getting unlucky. Either way, he's not able to get there, and because of that, Weibo punishes and is able to send Day6 to the bottom 4, and that just closes out the game.
And on the other side as well, Tien Long was the player that went for the loss streak, went for the calculated loss, the open fort that we like to call it, where he's selling his entire board, which we realized during the series that Godlike doesn't really like to do that. They don't really like to open fort. They don't really like to give up that early game that they might have. They might have some units they want to keep hold of. And because Tien Long got so much gold, he got that early Nunu 2-star, he got the early LeBlanc 2-star, and he was able to stabilize much earlier on.
It was a tough series for sure, and a lot of emotions were showed on that very stage between both of the rosters. Of course, sometimes elation, sometimes heartbreak. For Weibo Gaming, though, it wasn't easy. Almost reminiscent of that T1 series. It was a little bit different for the T1 series. After all, they had to win back-to-back maps, which they ultimately did. But in this case, obviously, for Weibo, they had to hold on tight to what they got. It was up to Godlike to come back. They did, to their credit, but Weibo, with their experience, was able to hold on tight. Again, you see some of the grimaces, man. These matches are simply not easy. But luckily for some, as well as most, you got the friendships on your roster that help you get through it. But what does this loss feel like? What do you think it means for Godlike? I mean, you're losing to the title defenders. So that's one thing that you could say, okay, cool. We know we can do better next time. But you were so close to victory, it's so far away.
Yeah, I think the only thing they'll be kicking themselves for is that first game and the if.
Yep.
If they could have actually closed that one out by just playing around Dahua at the very end. But I don't think overall are they going to be too upset about this. Taking a loss to the title defenders, they're not expected to win, and they took them to the absolute brink. They know that if they can take Weibo this far, what can they do against the rest of the field? And I think that's what Godlike has to take going forward, is that they are still looking like a team well beyond what everyone may have thought of them coming in, and maybe that can bring them to that top 8.
And the important thing to note as well is that Godlike still have the lower bracket to go through as well. You know, they are not knocked out. Of course, Weibo, congratulations to them. They make it to the playoffs, they make it to the top 8. But for Godlike, they still got one more chance, which will be tomorrow. You know, we don't know who they're going to play against yet, but if they win, they can still make it to playoffs. If they lose, their dreams are shattered.
Hey, it was a tough battle for sure, and we need to listen into the players with our post-match interview.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Digon here after a tough loss against the reigning title defenders, Weibo. Gobo joins me from Godlike. Ah, man, 2-1, really close couple opportunities. What are your immediate thoughts?
I mean, we're kind of a bit disappointed because, like, we feel it, we could have done it, like, not, like, variant stuff. I think we did, like, some small mistakes that were, like, being really, I mean, hard, but that's how it is. There is still a loser bracket, so we can make it.
That game one, it was the 2v1, just needed the first place. Was there some miscommunication there, or did everything just kind of happen too fast?
I mean, I think, to be fair, like in stage 4, the spot were like really way better because like we wanted like basically Arcom was like to maybe target Chanlong because he was like really low on econ, so if he missed 7 meeple, like with now he will drop like really fast tempo. But in 4-2 he got like dupes plus Ramus 2, if I remember correctly, so like his spot is kinda safe. I mean, he's not playing for first, but he will like save top 4, top 5. So we are like really behind HP. Like my spot was high roll, so my communication is I'm really fine, but I'm playing LeBlanc, so it's really hard to win out with like advanced loan, stuff like that.
Yep.
So someone has to win out, and I will give life to my teammate basically. Because like they were like triple bottom, so I had to give like a lot of life. And I don't know how, but Rico managed to set up like almost a win out board. But late game, I think they did like finishes really well because I mean, one of our main issue as a team is that we are like kind of static with our board, and Raiko last round didn't move almost at all, so they did like see that and like punish us on last round positioning, and we paid cash basically.
Yeah, it ended up being a 2-1. You drop down to the 1-1 bracket now. You'll face either Vitality or MKOI. Who do you want to play in that next round in the Battle of the West?
I mean, to be fair, I'm down to play with both team. Because, I mean, Koi are my brother. Son mis hermanos.
Yeah.
Pero, I mean, yeah, sorry, I'm...
Speaking Spanish for the MKOI, yeah.
I mean, so I want to play them, but, like, I think it's, like, a bit sad as well if Vitality doesn't make it, like, 0-2 for last mil tournament. It's kind of heartbreaking. And also, Vitality as an org, like, I really respect them because, like, it's one of the few orgs that invest a lot in TFT on long term, which is, like, really rare for our scene. So I think it's, like, also sad if they go out that quickly. I think they deserve like to get club points even. I mean, they will beat us if they get club points, so I'm just down to play them because also like a cool match also for viewership and storyline.
Yeah, Gobo has his mind around everything. We'll bounce back from this last game against Weibo. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it. Cheers.
Have a good day.
Digon for the interview. Shout out to you, Digon, for the interview. Obviously, there's some frustration there, naturally so, but also encouragement. He knows this next matchup is going to be tough. He doesn't care who he plays, but either way, he's going to get the job done. Now, big update, by the way, for Weibo Gaming. This is huge. For them securing a top 8 finish by default now in the playoffs, it means Weibo Gaming for the club championship race is now eligible for club championship points. This is a big deal because for organizations entering into the club championship race, they have an opportunity to earn millions and millions of dollars depending on where they place. So for an organization such as Weibo, the money could be tremendous. Riot is doing a lot of great things, and this is some of them.
The TFT Open is coming back to Vegas. I just hope there's no conflicts.
Why would there be?
We're bringing the first North American Regional Championship to Vegas.
So excited. Cool model.
Thanks, it's extremely fragile.
Where's my TFT Open?
And my first ever NA Regional Championship.
They've combined
into some sort of
Convergence Fest? 2 games in one place at the same time? Can we do it?
We have to.
Convergence Fest, TFT Vegas Open and the Riftbound North America Regional Championship, December 11th through December 13th, 2026.
It's been a great day so far and plenty of matches still to go. 3 here on Stream A. And of course on Stream B, they've got 3 themselves. And an update, AGAL won their series a little bit earlier. Ooh. Another team that is fighting for club championship points. Now, talking about the next matchup coming up, first off, I want to hone in on Team Vision, right? Team Vision, an incredible roster who has made great headway. A scary roster, especially with the region that they're representing. And they're going to be going toe-to-toe, of course, against Flash Wolves, who were absolutely stellar yesterday. Now, when it comes to Vision, what do we think about them in this series? Because again, just like the previous, whoever wins secures a spot in playoffs.
Yeah, yesterday we saw Team Vision against Koi. I think that was one of the most dominating series that I think we saw yesterday. I don't think we've seen the full package of Vision yet. I think it was just a pretty unfortunate performance from movie star Koi with it being so dominant. But a player that we always call out for Team Vision is Flancy, one of the most dominant players on this roster, one of the most experienced players as well. And for them, they're going to look to continue that momentum.
Haven't lost yet. They could lose here, but they're not looking to. I mean, we're talking 2 heavyweight rosters in this moment. And I love the Flancy call out because Flancy, I would say Emoji as well, right? Gets the most attention when we're in the discussion for Team Vision.
Yeah, I think Moji ended up getting a lot of attention for the 8th places in the last series, but I think that a lot of that came due to the fact that they were able to still have a lot of impact, right? Because what we saw out of Vision was their ability to grief the strong players of MKOI by contesting their spots with their weakest players, which was exactly what Moji was able to accomplish. Yes. Meanwhile, it opens the door for Flancy to run away with it. So I agree. Moji and Flancy were exactly the players that I was looking at from Vision after yesterday. Even though they'll make fun of Moji for the 8s, he still was playing his role successfully.
Team Vision takes the stage in just a moment's time. Let's dive a little bit deeper into who they are.
大家好，我是 Team Vision 战队的选手 Flancy。然后我的队友是真白、秦吹维和摸鸡鸡。摸鸡鸡是团队的大脑吧，因为他就是相当于说我们的指挥。然后秦吹维更擅长于连败锁血这样，更擅长于玩那种深蹲型阵容。然后我和真白是属于全能补位型，就是我们玩到哪个位置都可以。我们平时就是还是队友之间就是还是比较轻松氛围，就比较轻松，比较就是没那么严肃的那种。但是去打比赛的时候，就大家还是非常严谨，就是不会嘻嘻哈哈这样。就非常感谢支持我们的粉丝吧，我们也会尽全力打好每一场比赛，然后真的用尽全力去赢得冠军的。
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are joined with Flancy from Team Vision, and I am very excited to pick his brain on a couple of things. But Damascus, I feel like you should start this thing off.
Of course, let's do it. No, Flancy, good to see you there. Obviously, you guys have been playing amazing. But there's something cool about your team. You are the one player with EWC experience in this team, leading this. You got back-to-back first yesterday. How is the vibes of the team? Are you acting as a leader, or are you all friends vibing on the stage?
Flancy 很高兴再次见到你。在你们战队里面，你是唯一一个有多次电竞世俱杯的经验的一位选手。
I can hold those. Not much flexibility there as opposed to the AP tree with Karma, Aurelian Soul, LeBlanc, Nami, all those options.
And the itemization is really specific going towards that Kraken Slayer, and if you are playing around the Stargazers, you're letting the opposition team know from the get-go that you're leaning into that route.
Exactly. Pike too. Actually being picked up there on that previous board. A couple upgrades here. Juan Mi with a Space Groove setup. And yesterday we saw Juan Mi be able to play every single playstyle, right? Play that middle of the pack, I'm going to support my team, play full loss, play that denial game plan as well as win out in that 3-game series. Of course, the star-studded player Juanmia, one of the GOATs of TFT, 7 TACRON appearances, 2 wins. He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT, and you'd expect nothing less they'd be able to transfer that into a 4-person environment, as he has such depth and range that he can take up. So it looks like we're going to be starting off with some silver augments across the board. Not too much variation, just a little bit of econ here and there. See some random emblems being picked up as well. Can give a little bit of direction. As we mentioned before, there we go. There is someone playing towards the Stargazer, and with the mountain, that's going to stack up quite quickly. As you're going to be
60 second thì đang có một cái form chim tinh.
Early is so strong, and there's pretty generic items on the bench, right? There's gonna be going towards that tank style. You don't need to be slamming any of these real AD items yet, but of course going to be perhaps playing around the Xayah. Lulu is an option that people can consider, however.
Definitely an option. You're gonna have to see which
items he
decides to pick up, which ones he's going to choose.
Gặp cho mình bài đấu của Marit. Sẽ là chiến thắng là cho 60 second mà thôi.
Item anvils. However, one thing is this does kind of push him into that direction, and I would imagine that unless he gets a very clear direction to play towards Lulu, already the VP players are going to start to hold on to extra copies of Xayah.
Ê, Police sẽ lên trước. Chiến thắng là cho Marit ạ.
I believe it was Tidal who got Lulu 3 on a Mountain Stargazer and did pilot it to a first place, so we know that assuming there's the good items for it, good direction, it is strong enough to take an entire lobby. Just gotta see if that situation is presented as well. Juanmia is bored. 1, 2, 3 with the Belvet 2 upgraded front line. Now a challenger in with the misfortune.
Vì vậy một con Belvet tu cho Hermi rồi. Wow. Đỏ chưa kìa. Belvet 2 ạ. Cầm cung xanh. Quá khỏe, chắc chắn sẽ là chiến thắng cho Hermi rồi. Gặp bài đấu tiếp tục gặp bài đấu của Maris, mà bài đấu của Maris hiện tại thì chả có gì cả. Khi có 2 con tay 1 sao và sẽ clear rất nhanh từ con Belvet này. Rất đau. Nguyên nhà. Đây thì Hào gặp đồng đội 60 second. Sẽ là một chiến thắng cho Hào thôi. Cũng là nguyên nhà. 4 chat. NCC thì có chiến thắng trước Milo. 3 thần Kêu và thần Soraka. Các tuyển thủ sẽ có lựa chọn như thế nào đây?
Yep, and getting that extra Reforger could be quite helpful if you do want to pilot away from something like the Stargazer as you're taking a random emblem. That being said though, given that we have seen the players gravitate towards the mountain and playing the Stargazer, I would imagine maybe not Reforging it as we already have that clear direction and it seems quite meta.
Absolutely. 1 player per team generally going to be going for that style. Considering it's pretty strong, right? And you're gonna have to fill into that flex slot, right? There's typically in the successful game has been 2 AP players, a tempo player, and then that, you know, mystery 4th thing, which could be Stargazer this game.
Yeah, definitely could be. As you see Milo here as playing around Arbiter here. So he's going to be stacking up those extra Leonas, as we can see on the left side of our screen. Already has the Zoe 2, is able to push levels now, despite the fact that we're taking a bit of a loss streak, just because we didn't have the right items to slam or the front line. But now that we're at this position, we've seen this time and time again. The players will stack up, get that Leona 3, slam items like the JG, and then they'll be able to play any AP flex.
This is very strong, especially around that Zoe 2. This is one of the best AP carriers.
Còn Zoe 2 của Milo. Clear rất nhanh bài đấu của 60 second. Kết hợp thêm cả một cái Fortune nữa. Và cũng sẽ là nguyên nhà mà thôi. Quân Mi và NCC thì đều đang cháy. Đều đã có win streak. Mà đi lại thua tiếp rồi. Tien thì cũng đang có chuỗi thua 4. Thì đang có siêu thú. Tien và Maurice sẽ là 2 thành viên chơi chuỗi thua trong trận này. Trong khi đó sẽ NCC và Milo sẽ chơi.
This is where you'd like to see the sides of Aurora Gaming doing a bit of denial here, because if Kian can get himself into a really strong position, having a guaranteed win-out player on the side of Virtus Pro puts a lot of pressure
Gặp bài đấu của Madrid và sẽ là thua tiếp đến từ Tien. Ở đây thì Lilo sẽ tiếp tục bị mất chuỗi của mình thôi khi gặp bài đấu quá là mạnh từ Huân Mi. Có con Velvet 2 quá sớm đi thôi và anh ta chắc chắn là sẽ chuỗi thắng sẽ còn dài nữa. Không chỉ dừng lại ở con số 5. NCC vẫn là chuỗi win 5. Và round sau không biết là sẽ gặp nhau hay chưa. Huân Mi đối đầu với cái NCC. NCC thì cũng đã có một con bài 2.
Two players from both teams who have 5 streaked into neutrals here.
Bài đấu cũng khá khỏe từ NCC.
Early augment gets a last whisper slam. Very indicative of direction there towards that AD line.
Liệu rằng có gặp Huân Mi sớm hay không? Sẽ một nhà sẽ phải mất chuỗi. Thêm một con Gragas nữa. Và sẽ là bán để tròn 40 tiền mà thôi. Đây đang NCC và nhà Huân Mi. Rằng ai sẽ là người nhất chuỗi ai đây? Gragas 2 đến từ NCC. Và sẽ là đổi vào rất nhiều 2 sao. Có gì nick 2 sao đã up level 6 từ Huân Mi rồi, chắc chắn là như vậy. Tiếp tục một con Goben 2 sao vào. NCC cũng sẽ phải nâng lên level 6 mà thôi. Và sẽ là thêm một con Goben. Nhưng mà là vẫn chưa gặp nhau từ hai người đang cháy của cả hai đội rồi.
Jinx 2 in the backline as well, absolutely strong enough to defeat 62nd in that round. NCC going up against Lilu. Also Lilu level 5, so both players maintain their win streaks.
It's looking good across the board. You can see on the right side of our screen there, 6 win, 6 loss, 6 loss. So we do head into a gold augment offering.
Slam plus, interesting option. Invader Z.
Tien thì vẫn là tiếp tục chuỗi thua 6, tương tự với 60 Second.
This is pretty risky play style, right?
Có lõi Z có chọn hay không?
If it's in a really good situation for it, can absolutely pop off.
Most definitely. Was also offered the Cosmic Restart, where they're already playing around the lost streak and the Anima, most likely not going to want to do that. No, there we go. Is going to actually opt in towards it and just take the early cash out. So this is a little bit different to where I thought that his game plan was going, but definitely a great way to cap out highly.
Absolutely.
Kian sẽ định làm gì đây?
Full investment into being that win out player for Kian. Going to have a challenger emblem as well as that psionic.
Yep, so it can still be quite strong for the time being, but he's not really going to opt into investing into his roles. Instead, he's going to recognize that he can just sack a little bit longer. He'll get his latent forge. It's going to be coming shortly, and then that's
thua đến từ Kia mà thôi.
Power Spike does have access
Chứ
to
có gì update đội hình cả.
I think I saw a Stargazer there, so probably a
Điều bài đấu của Huân Mi tiếp tục là gặp NCC và NCC đã phải thua. Mất chuỗi thì NCC rồi. Còn Mi tiếp tục chuỗi thắng của mình với đầy 100 máu. Thì Á Hào có một con Lissandra 3, một dàn tank khá cứng với Model 2 cũng như là Neona 2 cầm giáp lửa. Chúng ta nhìn bài đấu của Huân Mi kìa, full 6 con 2 sao. Gặp ai thì Huân Mi cũng sẽ là gọi đơn giản là làm gỏi hết mà thôi. Đây thì NCC gặp bài đấu của Milo. Còn Leona tank khá cứng. Còn bài thì cũng đã luôn được vào phía sau. Mà NCC thì lại không lắp item. Trận này sẽ là thua thôi. Có rất nhiều item vào. Có lẽ NCC nghĩ là mình cũng sẽ không thắng được Huân Mi đâu. Nên NCC quyết định là share máu của đồng đội. Vì đằng nào cũng mất chuỗi trước Huân Mi từ ván trước rồi á. Nên là giờ sẽ là xem một chút máu của mình thôi.
Absolutely, and I feel like I see that Soraka option a lot.
Không lắp đồ.
It's like okay, but I'm never like excited to click on it.
Yeah,
honestly.
often seems like the players will lean towards that KO, get that guaranteed extra set of items, and then moving forward to the late game. Perfectly fine with sticking in that route. Soraka, the extra HP can be beneficial, especially if you think you're going to be quite low on it and you want to try and gain just one extra life. As we do get a nice POV here of Tien, he's going to start making some decisions about his board, or is he going to wait? No, he's going to rip it now.
Now rips it now, of course, gets some.
Tien sẽ lựa chọn gì đây?
Options, to be honest, they all have a similar identity, I would say.
Absolutely.
Based around that back
Rau điện, xương cá. Gì chọn gì? Chọn gì đến từ chiều Tien?
The fishbones as well. Looks like he was actually looking for something more frontline, given that he's already got quite a lot of
Đã
background.
chọn rào điện.
Yeah. Gonna be taken.
Đã là lắp đồ để đép. Tiếp bài đấu của NCC, nhưng mà NCC cũng không lắp đồ và tiếp tục sẽ là xe máu đồng đội. Tiếp tục sẽ là xe máu thôi. Ôi nhưng mà ôi rồi ôi Tien ơi, vẫn là không đủ khi mặc dù là NCC. Còn vì tiếp tục là sau một trận thua lại thua hai, tiếp tục 2 trận thua nữa. Huân Mi ơi. Tien ơi, mặc dù là đã có đồng đội tháo đồ, tuy nhiên thì bài đấu của Tien vẫn chưa gọi là có quá nhiều là update đâu. Nên là sẽ là tiếp tục thua từ Tien, mà còn hại cho mình là 25 máu, 9 chuỗi thua 9 rồi. Level 7 là 13 vàng. Liệu rằng có comeback đến từ vị trí của Tien hay không? Hay là tiếp tục là một top 8. Milo và NCC thì vẫn đang đứng đầu bảng với 86 và 80 máu. Ở đây thì 60 second sẽ gặp bài đấu của Liluo. Có TF cầm diều mãng xà bồ đỏ. Bên kia thì là một bài đấu Lulu. Sẽ là bài đấu chiến thắng dành cho 60 second mà thôi. Còn Lulu đồ quá đẹp. Sao là liên tục. Maris vẫn giữ chuỗi 4 tháng liên tiếp của mình.
Salvation in this next round, going to level up to 8, roll down all the gold. Isn't super rich, but it's going to have about 50 to 60 gold to work with.
Yeah, probably going to be 2 lives given that he is going to spike, but heading into stage 5 will most
Tien sẽ xoay bài đấu của mình như thế nào đây? Anh ta là còn lại cho mình đâu 14 máu rồi. Ở đao đấu 3.7. Đối thủ 10. Level 7. Gì vậy trời? Đang roll từ Tien. Sẽ là bài đấu Nami hành tinh thôi. Có Riven 2 có nhưng mà chưa thấy Nami. Ui, 6 con Riven rồi nhưng mà Nami thì vẫn chưa thấy đâu ạ. Ôi trời ơi. Là sao vậy? Không có Nami. Ôi. 6 con Riven. Và sẽ là chiến thắng cho Tien trước Huân Mi. Thì đã level 8 đến từ Tien rồi. Với rất nhiều update. Tuy nhiên thì vẫn chưa có Nami. Lilo cũng đã có xây già bùa đỏ diều mãng xà. Móc diệt. Nào chọn gì đây? Milo sẽ chọn cho mình là lõi gì đây? URF hay thăng hoa? Đã chọn thăng hoa từ NCC. Bán hết chết rồi, sẽ là roll lại cho mình và sẽ là bài đấu tinh binh chuông. Hay chăng?
Kind of keeping multiple lines open here. Looked like he was very hard committed towards the Rammus. Did start to pick up some Master Yi copies, but no. Going to be sold out quite quickly. This is a pretty stock standard line
Đấy,
that
fan
we've
rồi.
seen quite frequently. Not, I want to say
Năm
the best
con
performance, but
Ramos.
definitely something if you need a safe top 4 is
Có
to play
kỳ.
around this meeple.
The players
Sao lại hai con?
are not being kind
Ôi
to it.
rồi.
Seems like they're being
Sao lại hai con
offered
Milo?
a lot of the units that were like, yeah, I did
Không
want
phải,
that, but
hai
now
con Milo kìa.
Yeah,
copies
too
of that
many
one.
of the same
Ôi
one.
trời.
Right.
The wave theory.
Absolutely. Finding one copy of Corki, at least, for NCC's board, better than finding zero Namis.
Yeah, and he's actually not slamming too many of his items here. He's going
À
up
đấy
against
sẽ
Max,
thắng
but
xong.
his ult looks really weak. I'm surprised
Wow,
he's
đúng
not
này.
investing more into this Corki.
Yeah, this is an 8-0 loss.
It's a really bad loss, and I don't know what the communication
Yeah,
was
CC
there.
cũng
Max
chưa
said,
đắp
"Please
đồ."
let me win this one. I really need it. Didn't really
It's
seem
just
to
like,
be
alright,
the
hands off the keyboard. You're gonna win. Don't worry.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate loss there, to say the least, as Maris actually has quite a nice board there, making use of this Misfortune as a 2-star, very strong stabilization unit before you can get to some of those 4 costs. Synergizes is quite well there with the Akali. We've seen this so much across both days, where the Akali going fast 8, as long as you have the right setup and the multiple Novas online, then she's going to be performing much higher than a
Absolutely, and the MF is a really good item carrier for that Kindred as well. When you do get to level 8, find that Kindred, put 5 Nova in. This is a solid like top 4 board, right? It's really hard to full win out unless you get to level 10, like we saw in last series. But
John's managed to hit. He's okay, the
where did that
backline.
come from?
Yeah, it looked like he had no gold left to work with, but sitting on
Wow, một con đầy ven.
managed to hit the Nami too.
Đại bác kìa.
His items has picked up a sniper there for his Riven with the RFC. That's an interesting combination. We've seen him previously.
Có làm 12 thì làm rồi.
Utilizing the RFC to really be a problem. Not as common here, but now has managed to stabilize, and it's going to be all eyes on Aurora to see if they can answer back to that.
Absolutely.
Bây giờ Madrid cũng có chiến thắng tiếp 60 second.
In the front line for Mars.
Tien có sẽ là back lại thôi.
Third choice here gonna be permanently increasing the health of a champion in your front line, of course, versus a defensive component for your front line, of course, as well. So it's just what direction you want to go.
Yeah, especially if you already want the Kale boon, but you've taken 2 of them so far, then you're perfectly fine to pick that up, that extra blessing there from the Soraka. As we see, other than this board, most of the meta is choosing one solid frontliner to take all of your items and then be the main star of the show. Versus if you play this AP flex board where you can have multiple carries, just throw your mana items on towards your Nunu, and that's going to be perfectly fine. Does pick up the best friends. Does that mean that he missed it for a turn?
I guess so.
Yeah, it looked like it. It would be unlikely that he'd swap it back into a poor formation, but you know, that's the advantage of playing as a team of 4. I'm sure someone on his team might have caught that.
Right, absolutely. Or was sacking for a teammate
That's true
potentially
as well, yes.
So it could have been either option. That Riven over there on the other side with the rapid fire, the sniper emblem as well as a Morello's, that's the 3 weirdest combination of items you're probably going to see on a Riven as well.
Yeah, I mean, it looks terrifying to be fair, but she has that blink. She has that blink straight to it. Kind of reminds me of a Warwick when, you know, you blink onto someone, they try and get away, but no, he's right back on you. That seems to be Riven's identity for this game.
Love it.
Looks quite good, keeps her safe for the meantime. Unfortunately, a bit of anti-synergy because she will go straight in and not get any of those range bonuses, but you know, it still looks quite powerful, and there's so many other stars of the show there as we have so many items there for Kian.
Absolutely. Wow, this Rammus in the front line looks like a beast, but it was just a quirky one in the back line as well. And that's really the story. A lot of these AD lines, we see them get stuck on a Xayah 1 or a quirky one, where these IP players, they just hit.
And
Wait, Blitzcrank?
Looks like we're going to have a ranged Blitzcrank. So Blitzcrank has a bit of an interesting identity this set because he does have that revive mechanic. So a lot of the times players will just throw random items on him. The Sunfire, the Spark, a TG.
Right.
He'll stay at the front line and he'll stay alive for a long time. However, he can actually do a lot of damage with items like this.
Yeah, Blitzcrank was the sole unit left alive at the end of last series to actually get the win for AGAL because of that revive, right? But Blitzcrank going to be in a much safer position this time around for Kian. Look at that attack speed.
Oh my goodness, he's going crazy with it. And he has the Morello as well, so as long as he's attacking the same unit that the Nami and the backline are going on towards, yeah, this is looking really solid. I think we counted Kian out. He was looking worse for wear, but now has managed to pilot himself forward and
Kian vẫn đang bách.
one is better than the Riven.
Khi là mạnh mẽ. À Hào cũng chỉ còn lại cho mình 11 máu còn 1 mạng mà thôi. Liệu rằng TP có sẽ đẩy được các thành viên của một thành viên của Aurora xuống top 8 hay không? À Hào thì có cho mình LeBlanc 2, NCC gửi big update Milo 2.
The thing is now with all these players getting lower and lower in HP, Juanmia in 4th place at 27.
Pantheon 3 đến từ 60 giây. Bài đấu của anh ta cũng rất là mạnh ấy, khi đã có 7 chiêm tinh rồi. Còn Lulu thì vẫn chưa 3 sao, tương tự đó là Milio thì cũng chưa 3. Mới chỉ có con Jack, con Pantheon và con Aatrox 3 mà thôi. Nếu mà hai con này lên 3 sao còn lại nữa thì bài đấu của anh ta sẽ rất là mạnh. Vẫn chưa có gì cả. Chưa thêm một con nào 3 sao từ 60 second. Từ từ thôi 60 second ơi. Không có sóng rồi. Và biết là đối thủ Tien sẽ là ai đây. Và A Hào gặp bài đấu của Maric trong hướng Tien sẽ gặp Hunmi. Hunmi thì cũng có con Zig3. Wow, nhưng mà tôi nghĩ sẽ là chiến thắng này cho Tien mà thôi. Nhưng mà Maric, ui, bài đấu của A Hào cũng mạnh lắm. Nào, không được rồi. Tien thắng nhưng mà A Hào thì cũng thắng.
Just that one-star Kindred not doing enough damage on the side of Maris. Wanmi was a player who was looking for that 5 streak in the beginning of the game, was looking super strong, was tempoing up.
Thì NCC cũng chỉ còn lại là màu 5 máu ạ. NCC sẽ là người top 8 trong game đấu này hay chăng?
But now look at the HP totals for all of them except for 60 Second. 60 Second can already play for a first place. We know this from his board setup that it is something that has that sort of potential. But who out of the rest of Aurora Gaming can hold on and finish in the top 4 with him?
Nhưng mà Hunmi, Lilo và Hào thì cũng đang đấy rất là ít máu.
It's going to be so hard for the other player between Hanmei, Lilu, and Ahao to get into that top 3 situation.
Yeah, and it looks like 60 Second actually has the potential to knock
Tien gặp 60 second. Milo thì gặp A Hào.
So this could have been the round where he could have taken out one of and really swung the tempo of the game. That being said though, this Jax is going to be hard to kill.
Giàn tay cũng bị tiêu diệt rất là nhanh. Vẫn còn complete nhưng mà có lẽ là không được rồi. Đây sẽ là chiến thắng của Tien trước 60 second mà thôi. Mi còn lại cho mình là 1 máu ạ. Mi kìa, mặc dù là có chuỗi thắng rất là lớn nhưng mà ngay từ đầu tiên, nhưng mà chẳng lẽ anh ta sẽ phải là xuống vị trí top 8 hay chăng? Còn Mi của Tien.
We're going to start to see some eliminations.
On this one-man board, we didn't get a chance to look at it super closely for this game, but it is Jinx 3 with 3 items, Belva 3 only 2 items. The Kindred, however, looking pretty strong.
Very stylish hats there on towards the Jinx. She's managed to get a couple of kills.
That's a couple.
Yeah, but unfortunately on the 4 loss has definitely knocked a few out. Is going up against the Gargoyles there on towards the Leona. So everyone on the backside here of Hwanmi is going to be dealing with the Leona. Can you take it down?
Probably not. The Soraka's Miracle, right, going to be healing it up a ton.
One more cast there from the Rex side, but I don't know if it's going to be enough as we are getting the revive from the Blitzcrank, and it looks like the AoE...
Còn Mi top 8 rồi, không Mi top 8 không?
Has taken everyone out. Can she do enough damage? She can.
Wow.
Going to get knocked out. NCC is knocked out.
Oh my gosh. This has been some of the closest in HP. Lilu is going to fall as well. However, NCC is in 8th and Lilu is in 7th.
That's absolutely huge from Lilo to be able to make it into 7th place there. It's going to take a lot of pressure off the rest of Aurora Gaming. Hwanmi holding on with just 1 HP.
Vẫn chưa có Lulu 3 từ 60 second.
Was able to do just enough damage, but really those fights could have gone either way.
Absolutely could have gone either way. They were so close for a lot of this stage 5. Hwanmi now finding another item, that Kraken Slayer for the Belveth. Kian now level 9, managed to get here when we thought there was no way.
And he's also got a 2-star Blitzcrank, that funny looking ranged melee unit that we've seen passed around. And he's going to be going up against our house. So this is going to be the fight to watch on the left side of our screens. We're definitely going to be getting an elimination. In 60 second versus Hwanmi.
Absolutely. Hwanmi looking rather weak on that side. Melio 3 for 60 second has been found. On the left-hand side, Kian wins that round, takes out the opposition there for Ahao. Juan Mi looks like gonna win against 60 seconds as well, pretty convincingly.
I think great communication there on the side of Aurora Gaming, as I do believe that some of the front line there was not actually protecting 60 seconds.
Và Lido đã phải làm xuống rồi.
Got through the jacks and then after that was able to go straight towards the back line. So definitely a bit of communication there with 60 second and Juan Mi to give him that extra win as he was only on 1 life.
Just one more round and Aurora could fall actually. Juan Mi at 1 HP. Kian also single digits, but 7 wins in a row. This board has absolutely stabilized, and for 60 second, Milo and Maris probably have 2 lives left.
Yeah, I think we kind of counted out Kian because he looked like he was stuck on level 8, but once you get all these extra resources from something like the Cosmic Restart, if you can eventually get to level 9, that's when your board just caps higher. So we are going
inside. That's the fight to watch.
Going up against Juan Mi. Has taken out the front line and it looks like it's gonna be enough, but the Blitzcrank there is tanking on for a long time.
Juan Mi cũng phải làm xuống mà thôi.
Have multiple lives, gonna come back with so much damage.
Sẽ là chiến thắng dành cho chắc là sẽ là chiến thắng dành cho VP rồi. Chắc chắn là như vậy. Chúc mừng cho VP, họ đã có chiến thắng đầu tiên.
Game number 1 versus Aurora Gaming, that star-studded roster. What a start, what a statement.
Mừng cho VP, winner. Việt Nam anh em, Việt Nam ơi, lên là lên là lên.
Was enough to try and play for those top 2 placements. However, just the HP totals across the board just meant that Virtus Pro had enough HP to lead it out.
I should have listened to my analysts. I should have listened to the predictions. Virtus Pro are coming in as the clear favorites, as predicted right here, with 3 of their players reaching that top 4, 60 second, the last remainder of Aurora. Even if he wins, they don't make up the points. Gentlemen, what went wrong for Aurora here?
The clutch factor of Kian is one big thing tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to say the clutch factor, but he was, you know, we thought he was out, right? I would say, I would argue that in the middle stage of the game, we actually thought that Aurora was in a good position. So, you know, if small things changed, it definitely could have gone their way. So I don't think that they can feel too bad about their performance as a whole. Because if you put yourselves in those positions where you can eventually, you know, convert, then they can bring that back to the second game and turn that around.
And let's start with Kian, because I feel like he was the headliner for this particular one. His reforge and pivot of the entire game was incredible. He went from Shiv and Shepherd emblem to Sniper +1, rapid fire straight into Groovers, all in one turn when he had 50,000 items, level 8, rolling down on 1 life.
Yeah, I think it was the discipline as well. We saw that there was multiple copies of the Riven picked up, and we were worried.
6 Rivens.
Exactly, 6 Rivens, and you go, that's not really what I need. And you thought, okay, maybe he can play for the Riven 3. And if he'd done that, we would have gone, okay, well, he kind of got bailed out there. But no, incredible individual player there, and just swapped it around. Eventually got to the Blitzcrank 1, and then made it all the way to the level 9.
Playing the strongest board, even when you don't hit, is such an important thing to do during your transition phase. A lot of players will oftentimes get stuck and be like, oh, I didn't hit what I want. What do I do now? And take big losses. Kian on 4 HP, if Kian just lost by a couple more units in any of those rounds, it would have been completely the different direction Aurora could have taken it.
Yeah, as you can see here, part of the pivot there is the Riven 2-star there on the replay. And then now on the left side of the screen, we can see the 1-star Blitzcrank. So Kian just moving all over the place, and then eventually made it to level 9 and had one of the strongest boards across it.
Cheater! That's a Blitzcrank that's hitting from all the way from the back line, and it can have so much impact, right? Because that knock-up from the Blitzcrank is what makes the champion so potent, throwing enemy tanks straight into the backline, doing the extra damage, and especially when you're not threatened on your Blitzcrank, it makes it that much more scary. Now I want to pivot over a little bit to Aurora overall, because we saw a bunch of their players lean towards unorthodox rerolls that we haven't seen a lot. Obviously, Juan Mi had to pivot towards the Velvet Jinx from the Caretakers, but we also saw a Lulu coming through from 60 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. The Lulu, it was really a Jax Pantheon reroll at the start there, and then got into Emilio as well. But how with that Lissandra 3, we've seen that do okay to get players into that level 8, level 9 situations. Just really wasn't the case for Ahau there. Juan Mi as well looked rather weak even with all those 3 stars tomorrow.
I think that's what happens when you kind of push the tempo at the start. So Juan Mi was able to play for that 5 streak at the beginning, was pushing levels, still had decent econ, but when you don't play super greedy and you play to just, you know, preserve as much HP as possible, it's your job later to sacrifice that, and it means that unfortunately you're going to be the player who's going to end up in the bot form.
That's so unlike Hwanmei.
Yeah.
That is so unlike Hwanmei.
It's a team player.
Well, let's see if Aurora can actually come back in our game number 2 in our second best of 3 of the day. We're going to go into a quick break and then we'll be right back.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
He can come in here and play my game. He knows nothing but go!
Tyler Wine, you're done.
This is my ladder. You can't climb it.
That's an L airline.
Somebody better hold me back.
Okay, yeah. Do something then.
Game number 1 of Virtus Pro versus Aurora Gaming in the books. And Virtus Pro take the lead 1-0. I'm Crowan with Tamura again as we get on into game number 2 shortly. Tamura, that game, a statement from Virtus Pro.
A statement from Virtus Pro on the back of Tien, who we counted out from the roll down. We thought, you know, unfortunate just the way that his initial roll down went, but he was so creative, so vigilant, deciding, you know, this is my best board that I can play around now, and I am looking in a dire situation, but instead, I'm going to stay on 4 HP, I'm not going to lose another round, and I'm going to start bleeding out Aurora Gaming, and then 3 of them fell in the bot 4.
Yeah, it was so close. There's 5 players on like 12 HP or below. Such a close game. And if you look at the endgame score screen, right, oh, 3 Aurora went out in the bottom 4, right? You're like, oh, it wasn't really close. But it really does not tell the whole story of that game.
Yeah, and that's exactly why you need to be watching it firsthand, because the fights were looking so close. There was so many micro decisions that really just made it go in the way of Virtus Pro. There's such a stacked roster across the line, and we've seen this has kind of been their narrative, is that, you know, they're a team that's been together for quite some time, multiple TAC Crown appearances, and now that they're back together for EWC, they've had so much preparation, and it's really starting to show here.
Absolutely, literally double the TAC Crown appearances from Aurora Gaming compared to Virtus Pro, but that doesn't matter. It's a 4v4 format, so how did these players really mesh together? We did hear yesterday from Hwanmei, there's a lot of big voices in that Aurora squad. I did mention the fact that, hey, they're aware of the problem, can they fix it? And it doesn't look like it was exactly the case there. Maybe a little bit too much a priority to reroll. The formula seemed to be, you know, couple AP flex, a tempo player, maybe a re-roller, maybe something else, but they completely varied away from that and it did not work out for them.
It also just seemed like they had a different game strategy that game. We saw it in the previous series yesterday that seemed like multiple of them were playing that more greedy route where they would open fort, they would take something like calculated loss, and you go, wait, hold on, that Aurora player could win out. Wait, no, this one could as well. It seemed like the opposite just
It really did, yeah. Less greedy. I mean, I get you're in the spots for those things, right? Especially 60-second Stargazers, like, hey, I'm in Stargazer from early game. It is going to be the mountain. I can get a lot of these emblems on. It's going to be strong. Aha is like, hey, I can get list 3 pretty early. That's decent enough usually to get me into the late game. It unfortunately wasn't this time. And Hwanmei, of course, trying to re-roll there, and it really just bled out very quickly when it got to that late game.
And it also feels bad for a player like 60-second when in the middle of the game recognize, okay, my spot is really good, guys. You just got to hold it together, maintain as much HP as possible, and I will try and be the star player. But then to make it into the top 4 and then not even really see how the rest of the game unfolded because 3 of your players have already been knocked out, and that definitely feels quite bad. However, that's just one of the games. TFT has a lot of variants, a lot of different things that they're going to have to utilize their strategies against, and now this is a complete reset. Can they bounce back?
Absolutely. It is going to be backs against the wall for Aurora Gaming. Really have to focus up, and these both teams have players at the TAC crown, the most recent one, so they weren't hard prepping 4v4 like maybe some of these other squads, and that could come into play there especially.
Yeah, some of these other teams who weren't at the recent TAC rounds will have heaps and heaps of preparation time. Virtus.pro did have half of their roster at the current TAC round, so they've had that. However, I would argue that because they are a returning team, they were the runners-up last year and they've kept the same lineup, is that having that little bit of time away isn't as impactful for them.
That's true. They already have that experience from the previous year. Aurora Gaming, of course, not having exact, meshing as a full team in that same way. I don't know. Virtus.pro, it was their road to redemption for this weekend of games. They're looking strong if they can take out Aurora Gaming, looking even stronger if they can do it in a 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, if they can do it in a 2-0 fashion, the fact that they got here being the 3rd seed from the global qualifiers, that's got to kind of be written off. If they can go 2-0 against someone in groups, okay,
yeah, disregard that.
That's right. But if they can go 2-0 against Aurora Gaming as well, that is something to mention.
Absolutely. Able to make it work against every single caliber of team, every region as well, especially the strongest region, even just objectively data-wise, right? China absolutely dominated in day number 1. Looking to be, again, on the back foot here in game number 2, in day 2 of EWC 2026. Players getting ready for the lobby.
Got to be hard, just kind of waiting it out. They know they're going to be starting at any moment, doing anything they can to calm their nerves. Doesn't look like too much communication is going on now. As I say that,
a little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit, because we don't need to rattle our brains just yet. We need to focus, maybe meditate, just think about what we can do better moving forward. Virtus.pro carrying that momentum. Definitely got to be feeling good about this one.
Yeah, something to mention as well, talking about how maybe these teams didn't get as much 4v4 practice as they would have liked leading to this event, means you're going to be prepared for a lot fewer situations. There are going to be situations that come up that you're just unfamiliar with, and how do you approach that, right? I think players will default to just what they know individually, but it's how you play as a team, of course, that's going to make the difference. We get into game number 2, Virtus.pro versus Aurora Gaming.
We have Kale and Yasuo. We've seen a few people pick up the options of the Yasuo Hex in a 4v4 setting. Can be a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that you do need to be constantly changing up your positioning. So if it's something generic like a front line, you can maintain that same side, might be okay. But having all of your backline carries on one side can be quite punishing.
Absolutely. The star of game number 1, Kian. Absolute mad lad, able to take that Blitz Crank 2 with rapid fire sniper and Morellos all the way as far as he needed. Maybe not first place, right? But we didn't even get to see.
Yeah,
if that would have been it. Honestly, it
most
could have.
likely probably
actually would have won out. Yeah,
for
fully.
sure. Picking up
Fountain.
the Fountain constellation. So not as high a priority. We've seen the Mountain have quite a lot of success, I think, actually across the days.
Right. Fountain's okay.
Yeah. Didn't pick up towards the Zaya in the last game, but definitely wasn't necessary. As we see, Kian is given the 3-cost Victor there. Not a unit that we've seen have a lot of play. I think Tidal actually did play towards the 3-star Victor, but
yeah,
a bit rarer of a line, I would say.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well either. It was like okay in that mid game, but then when it compared to all these late game capped boards, it really just was not able to hang at that point. 62nd, a ton of gold here. Dark Star options already making Econ the richest player in the game for sure.
Yeah, so if you can pick up some more brawlers there and pair with this opener, definitely going to have something that's quite strong in the early and mid game. But we've seen a lot of these players lean away from the Dark Star line. They go, okay, you know, might be my strongest board just in stage 2, but I don't want to get suckered into playing towards that Kai'Sa. We saw vertical Dark Star in previous patches work out quite well, but the players are quite experienced. They know that it's definitely not the line they want to go for.
Yeah, there was one Dark Star player yesterday who actually did able to get a lobby win.
Instant pick up there from Lilo. Yeah, just wants the emblems.
Yeah, we get some decent ones too, especially Space Groove. We talk a lot about players going to be going towards that Nami line, able to get 7 Space Groove. Pretty strong there.
Yep. Can go in multiple directions, especially if you pick it up first. The rest of your team knows where you're going to be going. That's always handy. So we do see a little bit more decisions being made here as multiple econ options available. And we also have Kian. We know he can dance around these emblems. He's very, very talented in that regard. Actually piloted the Rogue for a little bit, but instead ended up moving it around. Does have access to the animal, although that's something that's harder to pilot.
Yeah, there's the Briar, of course, available for that anima as well. Doesn't have a third one, however. He's going to reforge them? Oh, Meeple and Challenger.
Okay, there we go. That's something that they can work with. The Meeple with the Bastion as well. Okay, so this is giving him a lot of direction.
Absolutely. They're going to be carrying it on a pike for now and slamming early game aggressively, right, on these items with that guard breaker. Pike, a solid unit. We've seen players play around it to a decent amount of success.
Yeah, most definitely. I think we saw with the Last Whisper on a 2-star before, being able to streak quite strongly. And then look at this Pike doing so much work there.
There we go.
Already has 3 items there on 2-1 as he's going to be getting those extra stats. So yes, most likely leaning in towards the Corky Riven setup there.
Here's the anima.
Yeah. Oh, we do have an anima player.
Love to see it. NCC going to be playing that big, risky play style there, not summon any items either. Try to get that big cash out. Players can't really get the big cash out though. It's like you get, you know, 100, 200 maybe, and then you got like, okay, yeah, we got to pivot now.
Yeah, it really just depends on how the griefing is going to go on the side of Aurora Gaming. Most likely is going to have to be designated someone. You can see there, Juanmi and 62nd both took a loss in the first round. I would say there's a good chance, Lilo as well, that one of them is going to say, okay, my spot is the worst in terms of the units that I already have. I will be the player that will sell my entire board if I have to, because it is necessary. Does have 3 units there for the anima, so you can still hold on to maybe 2 copies, but they have to be quite weak, and you're not allowed to hold on to any other copies, as you need to guarantee that you snap the streak.
Yeah, a lot of players going for those emblem options for the augment as well. Do want to point out Juanmia, who took Forged in the Strength, gets an artifact now, but when you drop below 30 HP, you get 3 more, so Juanmia probably going to go for a bit of a loss streak. And again, this is a spot he's very comfortable with, did that a lot in Tat Crown. And so if anyone's going to do it to that level of success, having that many items coming through as well from that prismatic tier augment and strength, it could be him.
Yeah, we talked about how in TFT, sometimes you need to have players doing different strategies. Someone's going to be the lost streaker, someone's going to be the middleman. However, if you are both given prismatic options which give you chances to be either side, then it can be good to designate someone to be leaning towards one route. We do see that Juanmi is going to play, I think, Primordium here, so he's going to be stacking up a little bit of extra econ. Depending if he had NCC in his pool, as snapping the streak for the anima is going to be quite important. Moving things around last second just to not give out any information that they don't want to.
Absolutely. Information denial and information gathering, very important in 4v4 format. And a lot of information has been given from Milo there with the Last Whisper Infinity Edge Slam.
Yeah, most definitely playing towards that AD line. We've already seen that the round's going to be picked up. Maybe a little bit of extra direction here as we do get a look at some options. Some extra HP there for the Yasuo Hex, otherwise a tier if you are already playing towards the standard AP lines.
Yeah.
Although tier as well can be quite beneficial to those casters at the front line, those tanks that want to be casting multiple times.
Absolutely. Both perhaps maybe some tank options there. It's a little bit awkward for the Yasuo slamming these hexes early because you're not really going to be oftentimes buffing up a unit that you're keeping for the entirety of the game. A little bit of wasted value, it seems like, at that point.
That being said, though, Milo disagrees and is going to be going with the Yasuo. We'll see where he wants to place it. If
maybe just hold
yeah.
it? No, okay. I guess there's no reason to hold it, right? You're gonna be stacking up, even if it's like 3 rounds of that Poppy, it's still, you know, 3 rounds worth of value. It's something.
Yeah, we'll start stacking it up, and then also with the gargoyles, that synergizes so well because the extra resistance is scaled multiplicatively there with the extra HP, and is going to be going to that stock standard ADs. If we play towards the Rammus, then it definitely makes a lot of sense to keep a unit that is most likely going to make the endgame board.
Absolutely. Get some time breakers on the board as well with that emblem. Emilio, Shojin, plus that Jeweled Gauntlet, of course, wants to be a Nami a bit later. See if that's actually going to be able to be found. Shepherd emblem as well there.
Yeah, I'm seeing a bit of contention across the pools, which definitely makes sense as you have players denying, as you have players on Virtus Pro and Aurora fighting for lines like the Rammus. You can see both of them are fighting towards the Nami. This is what you'd expect to see from 2 of the best teams that we've seen so far at the EWC, as the worst thing that you can do is to test your own teammates.
Oh, absolutely.
But it makes sense to play defense, although it usually ends up in the situation where once one of the teammates has hit their 2-star forecast, it's a go. Everyone on that team is going to be holding on to additional copies, and someone gets left behind.
Absolutely. As soon as you're like, hey, I hit, all right, start going for that.
Exactly.
Start going for the denials. And we've seen in the last series, there was a high priority on the dial of units. And I think just as the tournament progresses, players are going to be more familiar with those specific situations and just do it more frequently.
Yeah, it looks like NCC1 has actually decided to go for the Yasuo as well. Could make his board stronger there with the extra HP, but instead has to play weakest board because he is scaling that Anima cash out. Now, it looks like on the side of Aurora that no one's decided to go full Griefer and try and deny it. So that will be interesting to see, because we did see before that Kian had that option to play towards the Anima and go for a massive cash out, but instead decided to go for the instant cash out and then pivot entirely to the Cosmic Restart. So we'll have to wait and see if NCC1 is given the same opportunity or if he's going to try and push it even higher.
I mean, we saw that opportunity work out real well in the last game, and it's going to be, a little bit of a cash out there. So and I think that makes a lot of sense in 4v4, right? You take what little you can get. If you greed out, it's probably not going to work when 4 players are staring at you like, hey, we're going to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And if you are thinking about it in that sense, it's a kind of, goes back and forth, the mind games that work there, because then it allows both the other teammates, you can see Juanmei, to play for a loss streak and hold on to units like the Primordian, not saying, okay, I have to sell my board and make my game state weaker, if we know that VP is just going to say, no, just take a small cash out, and there's going to be wasted if Juanmei was to sell his entire board.
Absolutely. 2 loss streakers on the side of Aurora Gaming this time around, 62nd and Juanmei. Good thing they didn't run to each other and grief that streak. No one full win streaking, however, this game is a little interesting. We generally have seen that in EWC so far.
I want to take it back. I think I missed something. Actually, was NCC1's streak was snapped off camera, which is probably why he decided not to go that full route. So 2 times in a row now, Virtus Pro have had players in this best of 3 series that have played the Anima line, but not been able to take it the distance and push it all the way forward to a mega cash out. So both 62nd and Juanmei getting very lucky that they are on the same team and they were both able to get a 5 loss streak, and they were able to destroy the hopes of Virtus Pro having a giga cash out.
Absolutely. No giga cash out. It's going to be boding well for the other team. Alhao here with the super tanky Maokai, actually. That's already 3 items coming through because of buried treasures, right? Just getting a ton of components, and it's really good that they're tank components. Like, I think early game value is generally going to be more prioritized on those frontliners than backliners.
Yeah, especially if you have something like a red buff and on a Caitlyn 2-star, you're going to have enough damage. It's going to be consistently dealing out. So as long as the front line won't fall, then that's going to be perfectly fine. We do get a look at a few players across the board. We're going to get a little bit of a restart into an Ornn 2 and an MF2. I mean, that's perfect. That's all you need.
Yeah, this Ornn 2, and it's going to be stacking up that HP, right? That Yasuo Hex is going to be putting in work for NCC here. No traits online, besides the Space Groove 1, of course. But, yep. Just gonna be playing around those units, and they're strong individually, so it's okay.
Yeah, and also didn't really have the stronger supports anyway, so that restart's not really going to be punishing him for units that he already invested in. Looks like the Ornn 2 might be the strongest once we get Bastion 2 online. Isn't going to opt into rolling because he recognizes that he is strong enough, but actually would prefer to start stacking up the HP on the Morgana. Makes sense. Morgana fits onto pretty much any board just because she is built different and will just work with anyone. But those items on the MF are going to be so powerful, and this is going to be a very strong board. So NCC1 kind of look like the player who's going to be going for the win out to now, despite the fact that he's already lost a lot of HP, I'm predicting that he's going to get to the end game, the mid game, and he's going to actually be the one with the HP advantage to start sacrificing in stage 5.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense, and we know from those item slams, it's Screaming LeBlanc there, of course, with Rageblade, and Gunblade, Milo, 5 wins as well, playing around... There's an AP line there, but Ahau here, got 2 out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. It does have some nice items there towards the Akali if you wanted to go that route. We've seen the Stridebreaker as well as the Deathblade obviously being high priority. got 2 being your item carry holder in stage 3 is quite rare, just because you don't usually have access to this 2-star quite so early, but definitely makes a lot of sense. It looks very powerful with this setup. This Maokai is not dying anytime soon. So many items available here.
Yeah, even just a 1 star, right, from that Maokai is still very strong. Sunfire gonna be the Ornn item generated here. And it's a backline Kai'Sa 2-star. Again, has still that Last Whisper and Infinity Edge. That AD line could absolutely become a Corki just a bit later.
Yeah, where are all these 3-cost 2-stars coming from? It seems like they're just all across the board.
It really does, but Kai'Sa not able to win out this one. It appears got just a little bit too beefy. A big win for Ahau there.
Yeah, manages to hold on to his streak. The likes of Virtus Pro's Milo is going to be knocked down from that as we do get into the second set of God Offerings. A chain there from Mikhail.
Yeah, another Hex, of course. It's the Mana Generation Hex for Yasuo this time. Pretty good for a lot of AP lines, which you know players are prioritizing.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that would definitely benefit from it. Some of the AP lines that, as you mentioned before, were leaning towards the LeBlanc, could maybe play towards the Vex. Might not be benefiting from it as much. That being said though, if you already have opted in towards the Yasuo, sometimes it can be beneficial to pick up more of that, so you can eventually take that Yasuo boon at the end of the game and then get that extra boost to the hexes that you're already utilizing.
Absolutely, it's going to be huge once we get to that point in the game. 6nd, one of the players who was lost streaking pretty heavily alongside Huan Mi has now found a Shen.
We've seen this before as well. You play around the 3 Anima and the 3 Primordia, and that's just getting the best of both worlds. You get the extra units for the Econ. You can start to stack up some of those cash outs. Probably not going to be in a position to go for a really long one, given that it's later into the game. However, we know that these players love just to get a little bit of a cash out. Any small boost to their Econ matters. Willing to sacrifice a little bit of HP, because as long as you're able to play for a top 4 from your position, your players on your team can give you that extra HP.
Absolutely. Here, 62nd going to be taking a loss versus Maris. Even with the just Emilio 1, right? It's able to do more than plenty here. Up against seeing NCC versus Milo. NCC taking that win. We're going to be getting to the point here soon tomorrow where level 8s are going to be coming through and the roll downs are going to really tell the story here.
Yeah, the roll downs are definitely coming soon, which is why we saw that cash out there, just picking up the extra gold there from the Alawi. Speaking of roll downs, we do have Kian rolling down
deep.
Yeah, he wants that Akali too very badly.
Where is it?
Isn't going to settle for something like the Belveth, is willing to hold on to as many 2 costs. There we go, finally. The last roll we got there. And as I mentioned before, this specific setup of items is what you want to see. Open sword there, plenty other options that he can go to finish off what he wants. For the double gargoyles onto the Jax, that's something that we've seen many times before.
Yeah, double gargoyles, and is going to be more powerful than usual with the 4 Bastion actually, the 2 Bastion emblems, Challenger as well to benefit that backline. Kian did have to roll a lot more than he would have liked, right? Is going to have a hard time recovering economy-wise. Had a couple extra copies of Jax, had 1 extra copy of Akali, but as soon as you kind of go that direction from behind, you're going to get denied, and you're not going to be able to get to those 3 stars. But the tempo, right? You're behind pace.
Yeah, definitely behind pace, but if you look on the right side of our screen there, all the HP totals there for Virtus Pro definitely looking quite comfortable. So despite the fact that he had to use a lot of extra econ that he might not have wanted, the storyline there for Virtus Pro is actually looking quite promising. And look, if Kian says, okay, I'm only 74 HP, I'm not going to hit 3-star Akali this game, I'm just going to push levels and try and stay alive for as long as possible, I would say that Kian is definitely in a position where he could maybe play for 6th, and then he's done his job.
Right, exactly. Speaking of Hwami, done his job getting 30 HP and getting those triple artifacts here. So we got the mittens, the flicker blades, void gauntlet, of course, as well.
Looks like he might have to sacrifice one more. His board, he doesn't have enough money to level up and roll down. He's going to make his strongest board that he can now. So ideally, Hwami goes up against someone quite weak or maybe someone that can sacrifice HP. A little bit awkward there because Aoha's still sitting on a 7 win streak. So this is about the time that you would hope to sacrifice some of that HP to your teammates. But if they need Aoha to be the win-out player, he needs every bit of gold he can.
Yeah, I think players or teams typically will just say, hey, Aoha, you gotta sacrifice this streak, right? And Hwami does run into Lilu, however, and is going to have a lot of items on the bench, so Hwami's going to get rewarded there.
Yeah, definitely. 53 HP, you know, it's not a crazy amount sitting at 4-1, but the fact that Hwami's sitting on 26 HP means that if he can sacrifice and wait until Hwami does his 4-2 roll down, this is looking really, really well done here from the side of Aurora Gaming.
Almost perfect.
2-unit loss, yeah, about as close as you can get from having a perfect loss there. Just 2 units, not going to be much damage at all. And now Hwami is sitting on a guaranteed 2 lives as we do head into stage 5 afterwards.
Yeah, and Lilu actually was slamming items mid-round, assessing that board strength in real time.
2 world champions. That is what you would expect from them when they're going up against each other on their own team.
100% there. This sometimes is a game of inches, just 1 or 2 HP. That's what won last game, and it could be the difference this game as well. If Lilu ekes out just one more placement, it could be from that plate right there.
And Hwami has done his roll down now, and he's hitting exactly what he needed. The Rammus 2-star there with the perfect items. Corki 2 at the back line. He just needs one more carry to be able to utilize some of those extra Ornn items. He's going to keep rolling down a little bit more. I mean, that's all you really need to hit from now. It's 4-2. He's going to keep rolling just in case that someone's going to be denying anything else. But in terms of his board, is looking quite beneficial. And one final roll comes in, gets his best friend value. NCC on the other side has managed to do his roll down as well, and his board is looking strong on a 5-win streak.
Yeah, we do have Karma being the only carry.
A little bit odd on the items there for the Karma, though.
That's a strange looking LeBlanc, isn't it, Tamura?
Definitely. I mean, maybe he can pivot off soon. He does have a 5-win streak, so he is quite powerful. That Morgana's been stacking up for quite some time, as we did see with the restart mission, managed to get the early Morgana, stacking up the extra HP. But, you know, eventually he will be able to move over. And yeah, when you go up against someone like Maris, who has the items on the unit that they actually were looking for, it's going to be a lot more powerful.
Absolutely. Not even one copy of LeBlanc there is feeling pretty bad. The front line is okay though, and hey, even better now with that Alawi upgrade, but on 0 gold, hey, 1 copy actually, 1 copy. Maybe the savior.
Yeah, I did want to see 60 seconds POV. This is exactly when you need that turnaround. It's going to be a little bit awkward because Hwami is sitting on 2 HP, so 60 second, when eventually we'll have to go up against his teammate, we'll have to hopefully have a stronger board. But talking about stronger boards, this is a very powerful fast 9 board that we've seen many times before.
A good pivot with the gold that 60 second had, of course, is sitting on a pair of Graves and Vex, but all the items are where they should be, right? Continuing to slam against NCC here.
And has gone off back to a LeBlanc 1-star, so the Karma's still there, but doesn't have the items. Makes sense. Vex 1-star versus LeBlanc 1-star is going to be the story of the show. Frontline Shen has some really nice items there, actually, so even though the Nunu is going to go down, the Shen is going to be able to stay alive.
LeBlanc died to the Vex cast as well. No damage left for NCC.
That's what happens when you have an AoE backliner and you've only got a 1-star on your backline. It just doesn't have enough HP, so that splash, that AoE is going to be able to take you out.
Just falls over.
Looking a lot better there for Aurora.
Okay, we got the stun hex, right? The first time you deal damage, you're going to get stunned for 1.75 seconds from that Yasuo hex. Pretty solid. Kale, of course, continuing to give those items.
It really just depends on whether or not the players want to lean towards picking up that Yasuo boon to make those Hex's stronger, because we did see some of the players going, oh yeah, maybe I'll pick up the first one, but mana gen, nah, don't really need it, so I'm going to pick up some extra items from Kale, and now they have to make that decision because they've chosen one on either side.
Absolutely, we do see the Graves upgrades, of course, coming through. With it being 2-starred, that is fantastic, and a Thieves Gloves. Okay, I mean, AP Graves, sure.
It'll be enough for now.
Oh, Vex 2 as well.
Okay, so 60-second actually did decide to go for that final Yasuo Hex, but it's still going to be getting the Kale boon towards the end of the game, sitting on 16 HP with the Fiora on board. Actually, with this strong board, we could be seeing a stage 5 where two of the players, Hwanmi and 60-second on Aurora, have 2 lives.
Absolutely. They have done a perfect job, seemingly, at stabilizing Virtus Pro towards the top right now, but in just a few rounds, that can change and flip it on its head. Milo versus Maris here, both Virtus Pro members, finding 2-star copies of their carries. No Riven 2 for Maris, though, but it looks like it perhaps doesn't matter. That Nami damage is just too crazy, while Morgana never dies.
Yeah, the Milo at the front line there had the Bramble, so going up against a matchup of Nami, definitely going to be good. Bubbles going to be popping and absolutely piercing through. Not enough resistances there. So you do start to see the HP totals shift. We have highlighted Aurora Gaming's positions, how many of them are looking quite good. Across the board in terms of the HP preservation, Kian is still looking very, very favorable at the top. So VP in a similar situation to before, where we thought that Aurora could take game 1, but instead they just didn't have enough HP to work with.
Absolutely, and a lot of the members towards the bottom, actually the bottom 3 for Aurora, they do look pretty strong. Lilu, I think, is looking the weakest of the 3 because that front line is not upgraded. We got fantastic damage dealers, but they need to have time to deal that damage.
Exactly, and we mentioned before with Lilo versus Hwanmi that they managed to give HP to Hwanmi whilst Lilo not taking too much damage, and crucially, he's now on 21 HP, which in the end of stage 4 or early stage 5 is definitely going to be 2 lives, given that his board is decent enough. Bit awkward because he is the AP flex board, but might not be strong enough. He's going up against NCC1, whose Morgana is very, very powerful. The LeBlanc one is going to be enough. Doesn't die to AoE, but Lilu still on 1 life.
Not a bad loss there, is probably 1 life, and all of Aurora Gaming actually in the bottom 4 now with Ahau on a 5 loss streak. 60-second and Hwanmi, they both really have to win out. Both other players, I mean, they might not be strong enough.
Might not be strong enough indeed. I think it's going to be up to Aurora to see where he can place, because even if Lilo sitting on 11 HP does eventually get knocked out, I would argue that 60-second has managed to get the Graves 2 online quite early, and already sitting at 9 HP thanks to the Fiora there is going to continue to get stronger and stronger, and this is pretty much the standard fast 9 board that you would expect. Hwanmi sitting on a 5 win streak, so they showed potential, but their boards on average, the 2 of them, are actually a lot stronger. But Aurora sitting on a 5 loss streak at 32 HP heading into stage 5. I don't know if he's going to have enough HP to deal with the likes of NCC1.
Did just hit a Kindred 2 for Ahau, so a little bit better there, but I'm kind of with you. I'm very concerned for the HP we'll actually be able to have. No one on Virtus Pro is really solidified as a streak, though. It's just loss, win, loss, win. However, there's still just a big HP gap to have to get through.
Yeah, it seems like it's the same story as the first game that we just witnessed with Virtus Pro having that extra HP, although one thing I would argue is that this time Aurora Gaming actually looks like they have players who can play for first, so definitely an improvement, and I think this is looking a lot closer. It's really going to come down to the matchmaking here, as we do see 60 seconds going up against Milo. That is perfect, that's exactly what you want to see. If he can actually take out the win, Graves is going to be the tank for just a little bit longer, and there's no gunblade or healing onto him, so he's going to stay alive just long enough.
Lulu falls.
Maybe a little bit better items that would have been, been able to do more there with the Graves. I think this is okay for Aurora. Hwanmi dropping a life there, that's not great.
Concerning, very concerning. In fact, Lilu did his job sacrificing HP in a really good way, but it ended up not mattering, unfortunately, because goes 8th anyway. Hwanmi, the player that Lilu sacrificed HP for, now dropping dangerously low towards that 7th place. 60-second may be the only hope left, but one player, you need more than that.
Yeah, NCC1 sitting still on only LeBlanc 1, so if he has some poor matchups, definitely could be getting knocked out soon. We'll have to wait and see who they're going to go up against. So DC Hwanmi's board there with the Riven is looking quite powerful. Oh, is going to be going up against 60-second. Have they timed this right? Have they managed to allow 60-second to sacrifice his board just enough, because he is able to beat, he is able to lose out against Hwanmi, and the fight is looking actually quite good there for Hwanmi, despite the fact that 60 seconds board is a lot more powerful. And this is perfect play there from Aurora. As long as 60 second lives, that's exactly what they needed.
They will live. They're playing to their win condition. Of course, NCC taking a loss, and this is where the HP totals start to get a little bit closer. Aurora Gaming, they are behind, but they are playing from the spot absolutely perfectly as to what they need to do.
Absolutely perfectly. Hwanmi on 10 HP. It's very, very scary. Both of them now are going to be on 1 life. We saw before they were able to position it well, where Hwanmi was able to take a previous round and then give back, and 60 second doing just the same, as we do get a look at 60 second with one of the strongest boards you can produce in TFT. Look at that Fiora item.
Yeah, that is a crazy TG roll. Fiora did just get upgraded as well, going into Ahau. So, you know, another teammate on teammate violence there happening. On the left-hand side, NCC going also up against a teammate with Maris. Can NCC hang on here? The board is just falling rapidly. The Nami damage is looking like it is too much. The front line falls. Trying to hang on, but no, it is going to be NCC taking a loss there. But on the right-hand side, 60 second hangs on.
Now, the question is, was that intentional? Did they want to just let NCC1 go because they recognized that he wasn't even on LeBlanc pair, right? So there was no way that he was going to be able to take out the likes of Aurora Gaming. So now that they've done this, look at the HP totals there for Maris and Kian. Quite healthy up there. They can play it and spin it in a way that make it so that if the matchmaking continues, eventually these players that are on 1 life from Aurora Gaming, they're going to have to verse each other.
They will at some point. The matter is just when that will happen. Milo and 60 second on our screen here. Not much more they can do to improve their boards, right? Both 0 gold. They look strong. See what the matchups are going to be. However, it is 60 second versus Milo. This is an important match tomorrow.
Yep, and you can look at the Fiora has managed to roll the Steric Stage there, so the TG is really working out. The Shen actually has a bit of AP scaling, so it's going to be quite beneficial. Nunu's going to get 1 big cast off here. We'll see how many units they can hit. Looks like the backline of the Corki's going to be perfectly fine, not stunned at all. He's dealing out as much damage as possible. The Rammus with the Bramble is going to eventually get taken down, and there's just too much frontline there. The Vex can now attack the backline, and this is what we expected. 60 seconds board, very powerful, but the loss is not enough.
Don't think so. Dodging out on that damage for now. Yeah, drops to 4 HP. 60 second and Hwanmi, though, they're going on a bit of a win streak. Blitzcrank 2 upgrade for 60 second as well. Ahau, dangerously low. This really just comes down to matchmaking. Who is facing who?
Yeah, and Virtus Pro making the executive decision to let some of their teammates go. However, it's starting to work out because now it's getting dangerously close for Aurora Gaming. We saw that Aurora does have the likes of 60 second with a board that has the potential to win out. This Fiora, again, just rolling the best items for her. She always has something. Look at that Blitzcrank. The Blitzcrank's got perfect items as well. This is going to be very, very powerful going up against... Oh no, is he versing...
Versing
Hwanmi. Okay, it's just going to be whoever's the strongest there, but someone on Aurora is getting knocked out.
Absolutely. Someone on Aurora. So Virtus Pro, right? Where are they going to land? I think the game will still continue after this round. But I have to see where the HP totals land.
Yeah, and Maris has so much HP that I think that he was able to sacrifice. It looked dangerously close, but I guess you could say calculated. Hwanmi is going to fall, but Maris, sitting on 42 HP, is able to sacrifice and give up a little bit of HP there.
This is close. This is very, very close looking. 60 second only on 10 though. Ahau on 4. They're gonna need a first place Aurora and then a 3rd place as well.
So a 1-3 needs to come out here, which is perfectly fine because if you have Maris's HP, that enables VP to go all the way to 2nd place. If Aurora are playing under the win condition that they need that 1-3 placement, we already know that 60 seconds board is phenomenal. If the TGs keep rolling his way, that he can definitely play for 1st place. It's really going to be up to Ahau. Can he eke out a 3rd?
Yeah, definitely curious as to what Ahau can do with that 5360 gold now, right? Spending all of that leveling up. Same with Milo here as well. Yan and Ahau we see leveling up to 9. Or an upgrade coming through for Kian. Same with the Kindred upgrade.
Big hits there for Kian. I mean, this is one of those boards that if you can't hit early, you're going to be having to push levels and still playing around those standard 2 cost lines. So Kian's board, definitely quite powerful. All eyes on Auhao here. Who does he get matched up against, and can he take him out? It's a ghost.
Okay.
This could have been perfect. A little bit scary though, depending on how it was going.
Kian versus Milo on the left. One of them is going to fall.
One of them is going to fall. It all comes down to 60 seconds. Did he make his board weak enough into a position that Auhao is able to take it down? It's looking terrifyingly close. Someone on VP is going to be getting knocked out regardless, but it's whether or not this Kindred on the side of Auhao has enough damage. And oh, I think it's going to be a team kill from a ghost.
Right. Oh no, the Kindred. Oh, team kill from the ghost, actually. That could be it. Let's see where it ends up. And Kian falls, but Auhao falls in 5th. It is over. Virtus Pro take out Aurora Gaming 2-0.
And hear them behind us, absolutely.
They're hyped.
They are so hyped behind us, ecstatic with their performance. Dominant performance. I mean, this is... I didn't expect this. A 2-0 victory there for Virtus Pro. Very, very dominant performance. I do think that on the side of Aurora Gaming, they looked a lot better this game. They had multiple players who potentially could have played for those top 2 positions, but it seems to be a HP issue.
It really does, and I think Aurora Gaming did show they know how to preserve HP when it comes to facing each other, but preserving HP overall, the entire story of the lobby, it's just a little bit too far that they have fallen. They had a lot of good spots. If they had maybe, 10 HP more, would have been a different story. But Virtus Pro really came out saying that, yeah, we took down Nemesis 2-0 yesterday. It wasn't because Nemesis were just weak, it's because we're actually really strong. Proving that.
Also the resilience from some of the sides of Virtus Pro, where they had multiple players, Kian and NCC1, showing that they'd like to play around that lost streak strategy there with the Anima. And despite the fact that Aurora tried to answer that with 60 seconds and Hwanmi saying, okay, I'm going to play a really weak board. I'm going to play 5 lost streak here and snap your streak. Virtus Pro said, oh, it's okay. You can do that. I'll take a smaller cash out. Instead, I'm just going to beat you with a HP advantage.
Absolutely. That is all you need at the end of the day. We talked about at the beginning, the road to redemption is what Virtus Pro were on, and they are sprinting down that road. It seems very hungry to get that first place that they were so close to last year.
Yeah, and we asked it before the game started, was their day one just an easy 2-0 victory for them, going up against a weaker team? However, we thought this is where they're going to get tested, and I would argue that